Chapter 111. As Sejun ran towards the east, he saw a large swarm of poisonous honeybees in the distance. How many are there? Bzzz. From the east, 30,000 poisonous honeybees were rapidly approaching Sejun's farm, and buzz buzz. From the opposite direction, 10,000 of Sejun's poisonous honeybees were warning the enemies not to come closer, making threatening sounds. It was a critical situation. It will be difficult to capture them. The number of eastern poisonous honeybees was too great. If he tried to catch them, his own honeybees might get wiped out first. It was regrettable, but there was no other way. Kyungi, blow them away. Kryung. At Sejun's command, Kyungi enlarged and simultaneously infused magic into the branch it carried. Creak. The branch enlarged. KKU. Just as Kyungi was about to swing the 20 m long branch with all its might. Stop. Flappy flap. The black dragon statue flew in. Park Sejun, you fool, why are you trying to massacre these useful creatures? Aren't you going to treat Aileen? Kaiser began to berate Sejun. The more poisonous honeybees there were, the more honey jelly could be produced, and thus, Aileen's treatment could be expedited. I'd like to, but if we try to catch them one by one, our guys will die first. HMPH, just watch me. In response to Sejun's answer, Kaiser flew towards the eastern poisonous honeybees, making a loud noise. Buzz buzz. The eastern poisonous honeybees were about to attack Kaiser, who had entered their territory. At that moment, obey me. At Kaiser's single command, the attitude of the eastern poisonous honeybees changed 180 degrees. Bzzz. Suddenly, the eastern poisonous bees began to escort Kaiser. Flappy flap. Kaiser casually approached Sejun with the eastern poisonous honeybees. You satisfied now? Kaiser spoke to Sejun in a pompous manner, as if saying, this much is nothing to me. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. HMPH, I'm doing this for my granddaughter. It has nothing to do with the roasted sweet potatoes. Kaiser mentioned the roasted sweet potatoes unnecessarily in response to Sejun's thanks. It seemed that he wanted more in the future. After speaking so brusquely, Kaiser then casually flew away alone. And then, bzzz. Sejun stood alone between the 40,000 poisonous honeybees. I should feed them honey and tell them not to eat meat in the future. Clang. Sejun opened the void storage and took out a jar of honey. Click. As he opened the lid. Kryung. Kyungi rushed in front of Sejun, thinking that the honey was for him. Thump. Before Sejun could stop it, Kyungi dipped its hand into the jar and scooped up a large amount of honey. Then, slurp slurp. Bzzz. When Kyungi began eating the honey, the eastern poisonous honeybees started showing interest in the honey Kyungi was eating. You guys try it too. When Sejun poured honey into several dishes and invited them to eat, Sejun's poisonous honeybees and the eastern poisonous honeybees started eating honey from the dishes together. At that moment, a wild poisonous honeybee queen decides to follow you. The 11,931 poisonous honeybees, led by the queen, decide to follow you. You have obtained the hive owned by the queen of the wild poisonous honeybees. There was a queen too. There were so many poisonous honeybees that the queen was concealed among them. The number of poisonous honeybees has exceeded 20,000. Your proficiency in beekeeping LV5 has increased greatly. Your proficiency in beekeeping LV5 is full and the level rises. It had been only a few days since the level increased when the number of poisonous honeybees reached 10,000 and the beekeeping level had risen again. But that was not the end. A wild poisonous honeybee queen decides to follow you. As Sejun's beekeeping level rose and the number of hives he could acquire increased, other poisonous honeybee queens also decided to follow Sejun. This time, it was a queen who had 17,000 poisonous honeybees. The number of poisonous honeybees has exceeded 30,000. Your proficiency in beekeeping LV6 has increased slightly. The number of venomous honeybees has exceeded 40,000. Your proficiency in beekeeping LV6 has increased greatly. Your proficiency in beekeeping LV6 is full and the level increases. Wow, my level has gone up by 2. A wild poisonous honeybee queen decides to follow you. Then another poisonous honeybee queen decided to follow Sejun. This time, it was a poisonous honeybee queen who led about 3,000 bees. Buzz buzz. The 3 poisonous honeybee queens flew towards Sejun, rubbing their abdomens against his body to show intimacy. But why did you all come all the way here, abandoning your hive? Sejun asked the poisonous honeybee queens a question he was curious about. Buzz. We were attacked by enemies and had no choice but to abandon our hive and flee. Buzz. Me too. Buzz. Heh, I ran away because I saw the 2 of you running away. The smallest and youngest poisonous honeybee queen shyly replied. Enemy. Sejun, who knew that the eastern forest was dominated by poisonous honeybees, asked in confusion. Buzz. We were attacked by hot and red things. Buzz. Not only fire, but the red shell is the problem. Buzz buzz. That's right. If you don't sting accurately, the poisonous stinger won't go in properly. After hearing the poisonous honeybee queens, Sejun recalled something. You didn't get attacked by these guys, did you? Sejun brought out the corpse of a fire ant worker from his void storage and asked. The fire ant worker could emit hot fire and had a resilient red shell. Buzz buzz. The poisonous honeybees were agitated to see the corpse of the fire ant, and it seemed to be correct. What happened? Clearly they were appearing from the west, but to appear from the east. Is it the south? He was sure about the center, so the only way the fire ants could have come and gone was from the south. Let's go to where the hive is first. Sejun, along with the poisonous honeybees and Kyungi, moved east to retrieve the poisonous honeybee queen's beehive. One of the Black Wolf gang member couldn't hold back his laugh at Theo's words. Earth Defense Force. It reminded him of a Special Forces movie he watched as a child. Who dares to laugh at the announcement of the establishment of the Earth Defense Force? Meow. Theo, the deputy commander of the Earth Defense Force, tried his best to speak as sternly as he could. I'm sorry. Be careful, meow. The Earth Defense Force is no joke, meow. Yes. Then you all should decide your code names, meow. What? Isn't it obvious? Everyone here is part of the Earth Defense Force. Han Tae-jun had a request left in the contract. Black Wolf Gang had to work under Theo until they repaid their debt, and Kim Dong-sik was also contracted with Sejun, so Theo forcibly enlisted all of them in the Earth Defense Force. Earth Defense Force, this isn't a game. The face of Lucilia, the guild master of the Wizard Guild, turned red with anger at Theo's absurdity. This was not what she signed up for. When Lucilia was about to express her anger, Theo, Earth Defense Force, can you explain more? Han Tae-jun asked in a serious voice. Earth's destruction is coming, meow. So we, the Earth Defense Force, must protect the Earth, meow. Silence followed Theo's words. Destruction? What destruction? I can't tell you everything, meow. President Park said not to tell everything, meow. Releasing too much information could cause chaos and foster confusion, especially if it became known that the tower, like Noah's Ark, would take in survivors before the destruction. Everyone would abandon Earth and create chaos in an attempt to enter the tower. You expect us to believe you without telling us anything? Lucilia, who had been displeased from the start, asked. There was no information to believe Theo's words. You don't have to believe, meow. What? But just do what I tell you to do, meow. It didn't matter whether the hunters believed him or not. Theo's goal was solely to complete what Sejun ordered and to receive praise. And sell this to raise funds for activities, meow. Theo took out 2,000 detoxifying green onions and divided them into 100 pieces for each hunter. If he had known that the power sweet potatoes were sold at a high price, he would have saved them, but that was Theo's mistake. Much of Lucilia's dissatisfaction disappeared with the 100 detoxifying green onions given by Theo. If she went outside and sold them, they would almost amount to 15 billion won. There were many benefits to be gained from selling this. Then I'll give you a mission, Meow. Buy as much land as you can and... As he spoke, Theo took out a sturdy blade green onion from his bag. Plant this, Meow. What is this, ouch? One hunter carefully touched the sturdy blade green onion leaf and cut his hand. Be careful, Meow, it's very sharp, Meow. Can planting this prevent Earth's destruction? Han Taejun asked. That's right, Meow. If we plant a lot of this on Earth, there will be no destruction of the Earth, Meow. Since Sejun's words were all correct, Theo spoke confidently. I understand, let's try it. Selling the detoxifying onions provided money, and using that money to buy land and plant green onions was all that needed to be done. Since it only consumed one favor, Han Taejun had nothing to lose. And as for the Earth Defense Force, there was something majestic about it. So they decided to meet again, and the Earth Defense Force members dispersed. At that moment, Theo, Han Taejun approached. What is it, Meow? I want my disciples to join the Earth Defense Force as well. Han Taejun had already trusted Theo's words, and he thought that protecting the Earth was ultimately protecting Korea. So he wanted his disciples to join the Earth Defense Force as well. In that way, the Earth Defense Force was expected to increase its membership by 10 in the near future. All right, Meow. I'll write up the contracts when you bring them next time, Meow. Thank you, and... Han Taejun said cautiously. What, Meow? I want my codename to be Captain K. Han Taejun had always been envious of Captain A in Marvel movies. Sejun was guided by the bees to the beehive. Wow, it looks like this. Last time he only went to the entrance, so he didn't know, but the east was mostly rocky terrain. After about an hour's journey, the hive of the youngest queen bee who had fled last appeared. Kyungi carried it. Kryung. Kyungi picked up the beehive, and they moved again to find another beehive. 30 minutes later. Crunch, crunch. Giant ant workers chewing and carrying huge hives appeared, numbering roughly 1,000. Buzz, buzz. The original owner of the beehive, the queen bee and the worker bees, were ready for battle. Wait a minute, create thundercloud. Sejun decided to use his perfected thunder skill. The sky darkened with storm clouds, but the worker fire ants paid no attention. Rainfall. Sejun sprayed enough water to enhance the electrical conductivity. And then, throw thunder. With Sejun's shout. Crack bang. A massive blue lightning bolt from the sky struck the beehive where the fire ants were. Boom. Sizzle. The lightning striking the hive spread to the surroundings. You've killed a fire ant worker. You've gained 1,000 experience points. In an instant, 500 ants in the beehive and 300 ants around the beehive were electrocuted and died. The metal shell of the ants was weak against electric attacks. Oh, I'm so strong, huh? Thud. Sejun collapsed. He had carelessly exhausted all his magic power, succumbing to mana exhaustion. Kryung. As expected, Dad is too weak. Kyungi shook his head and carried Sejun. Thank you. Without the strength to stand up, Sejun was carried on Kyungi's back and arrived home. Chapter 112. TL Hanguk. While Sejun was resting at home due to mana exhaustion. Hi, Kyungi. Flamey greeted Kyungi, who came down to the cave. Kyungi was hunting small fish, brought from the Sea of Dimensions by Flamey, twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon. Kryung, Kryung. Not good, Dad passed out due to mana exhaustion. What, Master collapsed? Flamey asked in a worried voice, after hearing the news about Sejun from Kyungi. Bang! Kriong, kriong, kriong. He collapsed after dropping a thunderbolt. Dad is weak. I'm so worried he might die. Kyungi, while hunting a fish with a single punch, told Flamey about his worries. Although Kyungi knew that Sejun was as weak as a flatfish, he didn't know that Sejun had the talent to get into danger by himself. Even now, just in case, the golden bat was guarding Sejun. We can't let this go on. We need to come up with some measures. Kriong, kriong. Yes, we need a plan. Flamey and Kyungi were looking for a way to strengthen Sejun. However, they couldn't come up with a suitable alternative even after thinking for a long time. Tower 55th floor. Power of ice. Follow my command and conceal the surroundings. Ice fog. To buy time for the group to escape, Iona created an ice fog to obscure sight and slow down the enemies. The group, who had intended to effortlessly defeat the grid and save Jiras, encountered an unexpected obstacle inside the mansion. White knights guarding Grid's mansion, made entirely of dragon bones, known as dragon knights. There were 100 dragon knights. They were neither strong nor fast, but the dragon knights, who neither got destroyed nor tired, gradually wore down the fleeing group. They even thought of escaping outside the barrier, but unlike when they entered, the barrier didn't break from the inside, and they kept fighting and running from the dragon knights. And just when the group was gradually becoming exhausted, PPI, Chu suggested that there might still be a secret passage in the palace of the Red Ribbon Kingdom. They evaded the dragon knights' pursuit and arrived at the location of the secret passage following Chuchu. Screech. As Chuchu pushed the bottom of the rock. Thud. The rock moved, revealing the hidden entrance to the secret passage. Although the Red Ribbon Kingdom's palace had collapsed, but luckily Grid had not touched the underground, so the secret passage remained intact. Hurry up. Hurry. Elka and Hegel ushered the wolves into the secret passage. And then, PPI. As soon as all the animals, including the black rabbit, entered the secret passage, Chuchu quickly called out to her master. Kaiwo, 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 got it. Power of ice. Bring frost and wind to the enemies. Blizzard. Iona used magic and quickly entered the closing secret passage. Thump. Whoosh. As the secret passage closed, the blizzard magic spell was activated, and a snowstorm began to blow. And then, crackle. The dragon knights who had been chasing the animals stopped their pursuit as they froze in the snowstorm. The strong wind also erased any signs that the secret passage had moved. Sejun, who had been lying down all day yesterday, woke up. Due to the aftereffects of mana exhaustion, he didn't feel great today. He had no strength in his body and didn't feel like doing anything. But I have to do what needs to be done. Swoosh. Barely managing, Sejun added another line to the wall in his bedroom, marking the start of the 275th morning. As soon as Sejun, who had marked the date, went outside, Kriung. Kyungi, who was preparing breakfast for Sejun, noticed him and hurried over. The golden bat, who had been watching over Sejun all night, was asleep on the ceiling of his bedroom. Thud. Kyungi, enlarging itself to 3M, grabbed Sejun by both shoulders and brought him back to his bedroom. Why, Kyungi, I can move now. Sejun tried to leave, but... Thud. Kyungi lightly pressed its front paw on Sejun's chest as he tried to get up. That alone was enough to fully suppress him. Kriong, kriong. No, Dad must eat a lot and rest. Sejun had no choice but to eat soup in bed, forced by Kyungi. A little while later, Kyungi, who had been keeping an eye on Sejun so he wouldn't leave, fell asleep next to him, and the bedroom became quiet. And then, only the sound of Kyungi and the golden bat's snoring could be heard. They were both exhausted from worrying about Sejun. You guys. Feeling warmth in his heart for their concern, Sejun stroked Kyungi's belly. It was cozy. Then he remembered how he was overpowered by Kyungi earlier. Receive my revenge, bub. Sejun took revenge by blowing raspberry on Kyungi's belly. Kryoheta. Kyungi laughed in its sleep, tickled by Sejun blowing raspberries. Thus, Sejun, who had been playing around, carefully got up and went outside. It was too suffocating to stay in the house. Who? Sejun took a deep breath as soon as he got outside. The seed store will open soon. I hope some good seeds come out. Clank. Sejun, muttering to himself, opened the void storage and came out with a single strawberry. And then, chomp. He took a bite of the strawberry. Thanks to the freshness of the strawberry, he felt his energy returning. You have consumed a lucky strawberry. Your luck will increase for 1 hour. I wish the seed store would open late, then I could eat another strawberry. While Sejun was having useless thoughts. Buzz buzz. The youngest queen bee, who decided to follow Sejun yesterday, flew over with something in her grasp and landed on Sejun's shoulder. It looked like honey jelly, but it had golden specks, like gold dust, embedded in it. It looked very luxurious because of the gold color. Did you sleep well, 7th? Sejun asked the youngest queen bee. As the number of queens increased, he named them in the order they came. Buzz buzz. Yes, I slept well, and this is my token of appreciation. Haha. Plop. The 7th queen bee placed the honey jelly she was holding in Sejun's hand and rubbed her front legs together vigorously like a fly. Bribing already. It had a talent for flattery. Thank you. Sejun first thanked the 7th queen bee and then checked the honey jelly. Golden royal jelly. Right arrow, this was made by the poisonous queen bee over a long period of time, using her special ability to refine and purify various types of honey jelly. Right arrow, the honey jelly has been refined, enhancing its taste and nutrition. Right arrow, when consumed, it forcibly awakens a dormant talent related to magic. Right arrow expiration, 100 years. Right arrow grade, A+. It forcibly awakens magic-related talent. Sejun's face brightened as he read the description of the golden royal jelly. This is totally for me, right? It was exactly what Sejun, who was struggling with mana exhaustion, needed. If a talent related to magic was awakened, he could gain effects such as magic power increase or magic power recovery speed increase. In addition, once a talent related to magic is awakened, he could use honey jelly to enhance it. Amazing, thank you so much, 7th. Buzz buzz. Hehe, I'm so glad my gift pleased you, master. Was it really a bribe? But did you make this? Buzz buzz. No, my queen's queen. The 7th queen bee repeated queen 10 times before she stopped. According to the 7th queen bee, it had been stored since then. It seemed they couldn't make it anymore since the flowers had disappeared. Can't you make it? Buzz buzz. Well, I don't know. I tasted honey for the first time yesterday, but I'll try my best. All right. The enthusiastic response of the 7th queen honeybee pleased Sejun, and without hesitation, he swallowed the queen's bribe. After eating the lucky strawberry and raising his luck, it was the perfect timing to eat the golden royal jelly. Squish. As soon as it entered his mouth, the golden jelly became mushy like dough. At the same time, he felt a smooth yet strong sweetness. Though the sweetness was strong enough to cause a headache, it didn't hurt oddly enough. Thanks to this, Sejun was able to enjoy the sweetness purely. And then, gulp, the liquefied golden royal jelly went down smoothly. Well, the taste of sweetness didn't linger, leaving a clean finish. You have consumed golden royal jelly, forcing the awakening of a dormant magic-related talent. Blue light clusters circled around Sejun's body. Then, forcing the awakening of a magic talent higher than the dormant one. Along with the message, even larger blue light clusters appeared. Oh, it's exploding here. Just when Sejun was pleased that he had eaten the lucky strawberry. Swoosh! One of the blue light clusters was absorbed into Sejun's body. Talent magic circuit preparing to awaken. Magic circuit. just as Sejun was about to check out the new talent. Talent, your physical condition is too poor to awaken the magic circuit. Talent, forcing the awakening of the magic circuit. Gah. With the message that the talent was forcibly awakened, massive energy spread from Sejun's stomach throughout his body, and he felt a terrible pain as if his whole body was being torn apart. What's this? Sejun couldn't bear the pain and lost consciousness. Buzz. The seventh queen honeybee hastily called for help, leaving out the part that he fainted after eating what she had given. If things went wrong, she could die before Sejun woke up. A moment later, Kryung, Kyungi, who was sleeping inside, ran out and dragged Sejun back into the bedroom. As expected, Dad is weak. Kyungi thought weak Sejun fainted from a cold breeze outside. It was an unfair misunderstanding for Sejun. And then, what, Master has fainted again, those nasty fire ants. When Flamey heard that Sejun had fainted, Flamey decided to scold the fire ants that caused Sejun to faint. Flamey started spreading its roots towards the south. Pew-few-fut, the work finished faster than expected, meow. Theo, who had finished trading and establishing the Earth Defense Force, was happy and was about to go back up to the 99th floor of the tower with the interns when, "This is not good, meow." Huh. Theo's expression, who was laughing a moment ago, changed in an instant. Seeing the serious expression on Theo, Bill and Jeff also became tense. Every time that expression appeared, they had to run non-stop. Park Sejun's knee has weakened, meow. Run quickly, meow. Theo started running quickly. And when he was about to enter the merchant corridor, connecting the 70th floor to the 80th floor of the tower. Handsome wandering merchants, please take a look at an item before you leave. Theo's step halted abruptly at the sound coming from behind. Why did you call me, meow? Theo asked the wandering merchant who had laid goods on the counter. Huh? The wandering merchant was momentarily puzzled at Theo's words. Although he called another passing wandering merchant, Theo naturally thought he was called. The handsome wandering merchant can only be me, meow. I called you to look at the items that would suit a handsome cat like you. The thick-skinned merchant handled the situation aptly. Really, meow? Theo began to inspect the goods that the wandering merchant had laid on the counter. Meow. There were many eye-catching, splendid sculptures, but Theo didn't even glance at those and focused on the feeling of his front paw. Now Theo knew his advantage clearly. Then, meow. Zap. Theo felt a pull on his front paw. I want this, meow. This one. The wandering merchant's face brightened at the statue Theo pointed at. The statue Theo pointed at was a strange statue that looked like it was carved from a small golf ball, so he didn't even know what it depicted. Really? Yes, meow. I just picked it up on the road and put it on display. I didn't think a merchant would want to buy it. It's cheap anyway, so just give me 3 top coins. The wandering merchant offered a cheap price, but even the most expensive sculpture he sold didn't cost 3 tower coins. However, give me a discount, meow. He met the wrong customer. No matter how much Theo wanted to buy it, he couldn't just buy it. Then just 2 tower coins. Give me a discount, meow. Theo bought the strange statue for 0.5 tower coins after haggling 3 times and started running towards Sejun again. Pew-few-fut, President Park, wait for me, meow. I'm bringing something good, meow. Chapter 113. TL Hanguk. Where am I? Sejun opened his eyes, looking up at the ceiling of his bedroom. I fainted. No. Chills ran down his spine as he remembered the excruciating pain before fainting. It was an experience he didn't want to go through again. Then, Sejun, you're awake. Flap, flap. The golden bat, which had been monitoring Sejun from the ceiling, flew itself down and landed gently next to Sejun's face as he opened his eyes. I'm glad you're awake. Flap, flap. The golden bat rubbed its face on Sejun's cheek, making a pleasant sound. Thank you for worrying about me. as Sejun tried to move his arm to pet the golden bat. Huh. His arm didn't move. In fact, he couldn't move his body at all. What's going on? Could this be a side effect of his new talent? Suddenly, he was scared. Ugh. Struggling, Sejun raised his head to look down at his body. What the hell? Sejun was taken aback when he saw himself tightly tied up like a caterpillar with ropes. It was Kyungi's handiwork to prevent Sejun from going outside and fainting again. Sejun tried to break the ropes, but it was impossible with his strength as the ropes were made from several layers of green onion leaves. Golden Bat, can you untie this? In the end, Sejun gave up trying to untie it himself and asked the Golden Bat for help. But, Brother Kyungi said not to untie you under any circumstances. The Golden Bat looked troubled at Sejun's request. It could be because of Kyungi's threat, as Kyungi's fist was big and strong. Is my word more important, or is Kyungi's word more important? Sejun could have pressed the Golden Bat with such childish questions but refrained. I'm an adult. It wasn't that he felt like he'd lose to Kyungi. I should buy some seeds. Sejun gave up on untying the ropes and checked the seed shop window that had appeared while he was unconscious. Radish seed X200, 3 tower coins. Cabbage seed X100, 1 tower coin. Xinjiang chili pepper seed X100, 0.7 tower coins. Cucumber seed X100, 0.5 tower coins. Altogether, that's 5.2. It was slightly over the purchase limit of 5 tower coins. Leave out the Xinjiang chili peppers. The Xinjiang chili peppers were already harvested and reseeded. There were about 200 seeds in 1 Xinjiang chili pepper, so it wasn't a big loss. Sejun purchased all the remaining seeds. You have purchased 200 radish seeds. You have purchased 100 cabbage seeds. You have purchased 100 cucumber seeds. A total of 4.5 tower coins have been deducted from Park Sejun's seed bank account. You have earned 45 seed shop loyalty points. You now have a total of 151 seed shop loyalty points. Catching. 3 small leather pouches containing seeds fell onto Sejun's tied hands. Thank you for using the seed shop. You can use seed shop LV2 again after 30 days. But what time is it now? It's dawn. Is that so? Should I sleep some more? Sejun closed his eyes to sleep again. But, flap. The Golden Bat was lying on Sejun's chest, gazing at him with a satisfied look. The gaze was too burdensome for Sejun to fall asleep. I should check my talent. While avoiding the gaze of the Golden Bat, Sejun looked at the ceiling and checked the talent. Magic circuit that made him faint. Talent magic circuit. A talent that allows you to construct a circuit throughout your body to efficiently use mana. Magic power stat plus 5%. Magic power recovery speed plus 100%. Effective magic power increasing items plus 50%. Wow! The talent was so amazing that Sejun couldn't close his mouth. A 5% increase in magic power stat meant that if he had a stat of 100, it would increase by 5. And every single option, including magic power recovery speed increase, by 100% and effective magic power increasing items increase by 50%, was amazing. Is this really my talent? Am I finally becoming stronger? Sejun was full of confidence after checking his talent. With this, while thinking about how to use his newly acquired talent. Snore. Sejun fell asleep. The Golden Bat 2. The secret passage is in very good condition. Ona used light magic to look around the secret passage and said, "But where does this secret passage lead?" Elka asked Choo-Choo. PPI. This secret passage is connected to the treasure vault of the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Squeak treasure vault. At Choo-Choo's words, the Black Rabbit asked in excitement. However, PPI, there are no treasures in the treasure vault. They were all moved a long time ago. Choo-Choo shook her head. It was before Choo Choo was even born, so she didn't know where those treasures went. If it's connected to the treasure vault, we should be able to go straight to the bottom of Grid's mansion. From there, we'll go up. At Yona's words, the animals moved along the secret passage. There were traps along the way, but Wind's power, follow my command and drive them away. Wind blow. All the traps were activated by Yona's magic. Thus they arrived at the treasure vault. Who are you? How dare you raise your head in front of me? The white dragon statue in the center of the treasure vault shouted at them. What's going on? My right arm suddenly hurts, Kaiser said, as he rubbed the scar that ran from the front of his right arm to his elbow, that it was a glorious wound obtained from a fight with the Whitey Kellyan 8,000 years ago. He had suffered a major injury when his arm bone broke from a powerful punch to Kellyan's jaw, but Kellyan had all his front teeth knocked out. It was a one-punch knockout. Heh, that guy is doomed to eat only soft things for the rest of his life. Kaiser laughed proudly, thinking about that incident. He heard that afterwards, Kellyan, regretting the loss of his teeth, had made a dragon knights with the teeth he had lost. When a wound aches like this, strong liquor with sweet side dishes is the best. Heh, I should ask Sejun for some roasted sweet potatoes. Kaiser took out a bottle of fire carrot wine and moved the black dragon statue to find Sejun. Swoosh! The golden bat that had been sleeping on Sejun's chest quickly woke up as it heard someone approaching. Its brother Kyungi. Flap flap. As the golden bat quickly hung itself on the ceiling, Kyungi entered. Nothing unusual during the duty. The golden bat saluted with its right wing. Kryung. Kyungi nodded and checked Sejun's appearance. Fortunately, it didn't get caught sleeping. Kyungi, untie me quickly. Sejun, who woke up because of the noise, spoke to Kyungi. He wanted to get up and go to the bathroom. Kryung. Snap. With a little effort from Kyungi, the rope snapped easily. Sejun quickly went to do his business, and when he returned, Kryung. I'm hungry. Kyungi rubbed his face on Sejun's chest while tapping its stomach. Kyungi, don't tie daddy up like this next time, okay? It's a bad thing. Kryung. I didn't know it was bad. I won't tie you up next time. Kyungi nodded in response to Sejun's words. Let's eat. Sejun washed an empty pot and started boiling a new soup. The pots in the kitchen were all empty because he took a day off yesterday. Who will cut this? Sejun said as he took out the frozen purple locust meat. Theo had gone down to trade, so there was no animal to cut the meat thinly. As Sejun pondered, I'll help you. The golden bat offered its assistance. Are you sure? Leave it to me. Sejun was initially worried because of the golden bat's rickety appearance. Swoosh! As he watched the meat being cut smoothly, like pudding being sliced by the golden bat's wings, Sejun once again realized that worrying about others in this place was utterly useless. That's right, I just have to do well. From now on, the golden bat will be the cooking assistant. Sejun entrusted the cooking assistant role to the golden bat. The reason was that, unlike Theo, it didn't shed fur, so it was more hygienic. Thank you. Pip pip. The golden bat was thrilled, as if it were the honor of its family. Thus, the golden bat became an assistant cook. Just then, I'm back, meow. Theo, who had just lost a job, returned. And, snuggle. As soon as he returned, Theo clung to Sejun's knee and started rubbing his head vigorously. All other smells disappear, meow. While Theo was diligently rubbing his scent onto Sejun's knee. You did well, Sejun said, stroking Theo's head. This is a gift, meow. I bought it with my own money, meow. A while later, after thoroughly rubbing his scent onto Sejun, Theo held out a statue he bought from a street-wandering merchant, using his soft front paws. What kind of statue is this? I don't know, meow. I just felt drawn to it, meow. Theo proudly answered Sejun's question. He didn't know what it was, but it was natural for him to think it was great because he picked it. Swoosh! Sejun took the small statue from Theo and examined it. Oh, it's a rabbit statue. Although it was worn a lot on closer inspection, there was a faint outline of a rabbit. Sejun, who confirmed what kind of statue it was, checked the options of the statue. Statue. Right arrow. Right arrow creator, confidential. Right arrow grade, F. Aileen appraised this. The tower's administrator says to leave it to her. The rabbit statue in Sejun's hand disappeared. And then, the tower's administrator says it's a high-grade item. The tower's administrator brags that it was made by her aunt. After the appraisal, Aileen sent the rabbit statue back to Sejun. The seal broke, and the statue regained its original cute rabbit appearance. It's not dangerous, right? Since a dragon made it, doubts arose first. The tower's administrator says it is not dangerous at all. Really? The tower's administrator tells you to trust her. Sejun rechecked the rabbit statue's options. Treasure Vault's guardian rabbit statue. Right arrow, a statue ordered and enchanted by the great black dragon Tara Pratani during her time as the guardian dragon of the Red Ribbon Kingdom, made by the dwarves and gifted to the royal family. Right arrow, it controls the entry and exit of the royal treasure vault, allowing you to freely add or remove items from the vault. Right arrow creator, Black Dragon Tara. Right arrow grade, S. Right arrow skills, inbound LV, max, outbound LV, max. The Red Ribbon Kingdom's treasure vault. The kingdom's treasure vault. Shall we just see what's in it? Sejun looked at the animals and grinned wickedly. Since he could put the items back, there would be no trace left. Great, let's rob the treasure vault. Kriung. I hope there's food. I want to see the treasures. The animals' intentions were different, but they all agreed to take out items from the treasure vault. All right, outbound. As Sejun held the statue and spoke. Current list of items available for withdrawal from the Red Ribbon Kingdom's treasure vault. Total 1 item. Unregistered statue X1. A list of items that could be taken out of the treasure vault appeared. There's only one. It looked like someone had already taken everything, leaving only the heavy statue. Let's at least withdraw this one. Sejun selected the unregistered statue. Withdrawing 1 unregistered statue from the Red Ribbon Kingdom's treasure vault. Thud. A portal formed in the sky, and a white dragon statue fell. A menacing energy emanated from the statue. You said this isn't dangerous. The tower's administrator denies that only items she has appraised isn't dangerous. Then, Whitey bastard, how dare you come here? Kaiser, who had flown over excitedly for his side dish of roasted sweet potatoes, yelled at the sight of the white dragon statue. Chapter 114. TL Hanguk. 55th floor of the tower. There. Why is there a dragon's energy from the treasure vault? Yona was startled by the overwhelming aura emanating from the white dragon statue that she dared not approach. Then, squeak, I am the mighty Black Rabbit warrior, Black Rabbit. Black Rabbit raised his hammer and shouted. How dare this black-haired creature speak in front of me? Kellyan was furious at Black Rabbit's words. Seeing Black made his gums itch, and he remembered the past fight with that blacky bastard. Everyone run, power of fire, obey my command and unleash hellfire on the enemy that never goes out. Hellfire. Yona used magic to buy time for the animals to escape from the intense hostility emanating from the white dragon statue. She completely gave up on the idea of surviving. Yona's sole aim was to save as many animals as possible. That was all. However, stop. At one word from the white dragon statue, both Yona's magic and the movement of Yona and the animals stopped. Deserve to die just for reminding me of bad memories. How dare you attack me, the great white dragon Kellyan. Abandon any thoughts of an easy death. Grid. Kellyan, who hates color black, burst into a roar and called Grid. A moment later. Thud, thud. Grid, who received Kellyan's call, ran hastily with ground trembling beneath him. Thud. Did you call me, great white dragon? Grid bowed his head and knelt before the white dragon statue. Grid, how could you guard so poorly that I must deal with these insignificant creatures? Huh? Grid slowly raised his head and looked around. Around him, he saw animals that could not move besides the statue. Is that the great destructive wizard Iona? SSSG. Seeing Iona and the other animals, Grid laughed wickedly. He had ordered his subordinates to search for intruders outside, but he didn't expect them to be here. Today is your day of reckoning, Iona. Grid's eyes were filled with anger and madness as he looked at Iona. It wasn't once or twice that Iona had hindered his work. I'm sorry, I'll take care of it right away. Grid stood up to deal with Iona and the animals. But just as he turned his back on the white dragon statue to deal with Iona, swoosh! A black hole appeared on the floor and swallowed up the white dragon statue. The white dragon statue disappeared. The animals witnessed the white dragon statue disappearing, and their bodies slowly began to move. The magic was lifted as the white dragon statue disappeared. However, entering this place without even knowing who's here and without fear, I won't kill you, Iona, easily. I'll start by peeling off your skin. Grid was spewing out vulgarities, not even realizing that the white dragon statue had disappeared. Then, Pichu, the black rabbit, whose nose was tickled by the fur of the wolves, sneezed. It moved. Grid was startled, seeing the black rabbit sneeze. And then, creak creak. Struggling to turn her head, Iona looked over. Thank you for saving me, Sejun. Iona intuitively knew that Sejun had resolved this situation, and she wondered if this might be the effect of Sejun's knee that Theo had been talking about. Swish, swish. Iona thanked Sejun in her heart, moving her shoulders and loosening her body. How? Kellyan, sir. Grid frantically looked behind. However, the white dragon statue had vanished as though it had evaporated into thin air. Hey Kellyan, the dragon bastard, what am I supposed to do if you leave me alone? Grid called out desperately for Kellyan, but Grid's desperate cries only echoed in the treasure vault. Thud, thud. Kaiwo, 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 Grid, I won't kill you easily. Iona stared at Grid, clenching her fist as she threw his words back at him. As her anger exceeded its limit, reaching the 5th stage of rage, Iona became calm instead. Everyone get out. Squeak. Pi ppi. Yes. Yes. The animals who couldn't dare defy Iona quietly left the treasure vault. Thud. They even kindly closed the door of the treasure vault on their way out. An hour later, Iona emerged from the treasure vault with a refreshed expression. The treasure vault's outbound inventory list was updated to include wild boar skin, meat, and bones. You couldn't be, Blackie Kaiser. The white dragon statue was startled when it discovered the black dragon statue. He had even created a barrier to avoid the tower system while exploring the Black Tower, but all of his efforts were rendered useless when he was suddenly summoned here. That's why my arm was aching, Whitey Kellyan. Why did you come crawling in here? What, aching? Kaiser, I can't even eat meat because of you. Told you to steal my side dish. Kaiser, it's your personality that's filthy. Who throws a fit over a single side dish? That was something special I had saved for my 40,000th birthday. The two of them, who together are nearly 100,000 years old, were fighting like this. It was a sight to behold, almost unbelievable. Ruar. PSSH. As the two of them argued verbally, their powers clashed, and the crops and buildings caught in between began to turn to dust. These dragons. Sejun stepped forward to stop the fight when he saw his house being destroyed and his crops dying. Lord Kaiser and the other dragon calmed down. Since he couldn't get any closer, he climbed onto a fragment of the divine stone and shouted. Strangely enough, only that spot was quiet and unaffected by the power of the two dragons. Kriung. Kyungi stood next to Sejun, firmly holding onto his leg. The moment they left the fragment of the divine stone, they could get caught up in the clash of the two dragons, powers, and die. Meow, meow, meow. On the other hand, Theo was resting on Sejun's lap, humming a tune regardless of the power clash happening around them. Park Sejun, you rascal, don't interrupt when adults are talking. Your hair is black, huh? Very unfortunate, your bad luck, now die. Stop, how dare you attack our Sejun? Kaiser blocked Kellyan's attack, which was aimed to kill Sejun just because his hair was black. Sejun could have lost his life in an instant. What, you blocked my attack? Ruar. The white dragon statue began to gather more power. How dare you, Whitey, try to use your power inside the black tower. Roar. The black dragon statue also began to gather power. Crack. Crack. Cracks appeared on the ground, and the pillars of the water canal began to collapse, causing water to leak from the canal. Sigh. What a mess. Aileen, I need to call her. Sejun decided to ask Aileen for help, as it seemed like the farm would be destroyed if he left things as they were. Aileen, the best cheat key to stop one of the two dragons, Kaiser. At that moment, the soul of a dragon that has illegally invaded the Black Tower has been detected. Analysis results show that it has 30% of the White Tower's Administrator Kellyan's soul. As a mid-level administrator, you can expel 30% of the White Tower's Administrator Kellyan's soul. The expelled 30% of the White Tower's Administrator Kellyan's soul will not return to the main body and will be annihilated. Would you like to expel 30% of the White Tower's Administrator Kellyan's soul? Sejun received a cheat key that could stop Kellyan. Aileen, please stop Kaiser. The tower's administrator says that they will calm down their grandfather. He left Kaiser to Aileen and said, Mr. Kellyan, withdraw your power, if you don't want to be expelled from the tower and have your soul extinguished. Sejun spoke firmly to Kellyan. What? Kellyan was furious at Sejun's audacity in speaking so boldly before the great white dragon. How dare you, you lowly creature, die. Bang! With Kellyan's words, an irresistible power invaded Sejun's body. You have received a life-threatening blow. Dragon tribe skill, dragon skin is activated. The scale of the great black dragon Kaiser has been destroyed. Roar! The black dragon tattoo on Sejun's left arm roared and disappeared. It was an attack that couldn't normally be blocked, but Kellyan couldn't exert his full power because he was confronting Kaiser. Ah, did you just try to kill me? Prepare for expulsion. With Sejun's words, a black hole appeared beneath the white dragon statue. What, why? Kellyan was startled as a hole to expel him appeared. According to Kellyan, the administrator of the Black Tower was Aileen, and since Aileen couldn't leave the tower, there was no entity to expel him. While Kellyan was bewildered, President Theo, take out the contract. Meow. Following Sejun's instructions, Theo took out the contract and approached the white dragon with a blank contract, unfolding it. Hurry up and stamp it, meow. He shouted at the white dragon statue. I'm invincible when I'm near Park Sejun's knee, meow. Even in front of a dragon, Theo, who had received Sejun's knee buff, was in a state of courage plus 1000. Swear you won't kill me. President Park, don't forget to add the value of your life, meow. Theo hastily exclaimed. Of course I didn't forget, and as a price for targeting my life, give me 100 million tower coins as compensation. Otherwise, you will be expelled from the Black Tower. Sejun spoke, showing the tattoo of the mid-level administrator with a black dragon drawn on his right hand. Wei, are you a mid-level administrator? Kellyan asked as if he couldn't believe it. There was not a single place where the dragons who were managing the tower had a mid-level administrator. It was because of the dragon's arrogant nature. But Kaiser allowing a mid-level administrator, and not to some insignificant yet strong monster, but to an insignificant and weak human, it was truly astonishing. What will you do? The answer to Sejun's question was already there. Losing 30% of one's soul also meant losing the same amount of power and memory, and it was a blow to the soul. In severe cases, the main body could be extinguished. There was nothing good about it. I understand. Park Sejun, I swear not to kill you. I will also give you 100 million tower coins as compensation. Along with Kellyan's vow, the content that Kellyan spoke started to be written on the contract. And, thud. When the contract was completed, the white dragon seal was stamped. Dragons are noble beings. The very weight of the words themselves formed the contract. Here, meow. Theo ran over with the contract and handed it to Sejun. President Theo, well done. Please restrain your power for now. Got it. As Kellyan began to restrain his power. HMPH, whitey bastard, consider yourself lucky. Kaiser also restrained his power in response. And while an awkward atmosphere was flowing, you have completed the purple CP's sweet potato soup. Your proficiency in cooking LV4 increases slightly. Sejun's prepared breakfast was ready. I was preparing breakfast, why don't we eat together? Sejun invited the two dragons to eat, to break the awkward atmosphere. You have roasted sweet potatoes. Kaiser, remembering the original purpose of coming here, asked. No, instead I made sweet potato soup. Park Sejun, you rascal, you should have prepared roasted sweet potatoes, HMPH, but since you've offered, I'll give it a taste. Kaiser grumbled unnecessarily and followed Sejun into the kitchen. Fortunately, only the roof of the kitchen had disappeared due to the mana collision, and the inside was intact. Here you go. Sejun ladled soup from the large pot into a bowl and handed it to Kaiser. Humph, enjoy your meal. Gulp, gulp. The black dragon statue poured the soup into its mouth. The moment the soup passed the black dragon statue's throat, it would teleport in front of Kaiser. Sejun also poured a bowl of soup in front of the white dragon statue, then hurriedly scooped some soup into a small pot and gave the large pot to Kyungi. Gulp. Kryung. As soon as Kyungi received it, he drank about a third of the soup from the large pot and put it down. It's delicious. Burp. Okay. I'll eat too, meow. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Sejun ripped open a packet of churu and gave it to Theo on his lap and started eating the soup. Is it good? Watching the animals eat fervently, Kellyan was curious. Gulp, gulp. The white dragon statue swallowed the soup. Since it had the same form as the black dragon statue, the soup swallowed by the white dragon statue was teleported in front of Kellyan's main body. Is there more of this? Kellyan looked for more soup, but inside the kitchen was only Kyungi, who had been keeping an eye on Sejun for several days, hadn't had a proper rest, and was now asleep, clutching the large pot from which he had been eating the soup. Being the son of a weak father was quite exhausting. And carefully, the two dragon statues. Hey, you too. The two dragons eyed the soup left by Kyungi. Chapter 115. Is this really delicious? A handsome white-haired man, who looked pitiful with 10 missing front teeth, skeptically looked at the purple soup and took a cautious sip. Slurp. Carefully taking a sip. Flash. Kellyan's eyes widened, unbeknownst to himself, after tasting the sweet potato soup. Delicious. He felt the sweet taste and aroma of sweet potatoes in his mouth. There's meat in it too. He chewed on the locust meat, which had been boiled for a long time until it was tender. It was so tender that Kellyan could swallow it without chewing, and it wasn't burdensome to eat. Gulp. As Kellyan, who savored the taste, swallowed the soup, a warm energy flowed through his throat and into his stomach. Huh. Unknowingly, Kellyan let out an exclamation of admiration after finishing the soup. Shall I have one more bowl? Kellyan quickly moved the white dragon statue to serve himself more soup. Meow, meow, meow. Sejun, who had finished his breakfast, had Theo hanging on his leg. Plug. You harvested a well-ripened magical cherry tomato. You have 48,792 times left to complete your job quest. Your job experience has increased very slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV5 has increased very slightly. You have gained 30 experience points. When he was busy harvesting in the tomato field to complete his job quest. Kryuung. Kyungi's crying sound came from the kitchen. What's going on? Sejun, who had left Kyungi sleeping after he finished his soup, hurriedly ran to see what was wrong. When Sejun entered the kitchen, he saw Kryuung. Kyungi, clinging to the empty large pot, was crying pitifully. Kyungi, what's wrong? Kryuung. The soup disappeared when I woke up. Didn't you eat it while you were asleep? It was a reasonable suspicion, as he had seen Kyungi eating in his sleep several times before. Kryuung. No, I didn't eat it. Kyungi was upset by Sejun's words. Really? Kryuung. Yes, I'm sure the dragon grandpa stole it. Kyungi's suspicion was also quite reasonable. Dragons could do such a thing. They've clearly shown that they'd eat when pretending not to. Yet, they have too much pride to admit that they like to eat. I see, wait a bit, I'll make it again. Meanwhile, eat this, crop gigantification. Sejun used his skill on a power sweet potato, turning it into a giant sweet potato, and gave it to Kyungi. Chomp. Kryung. It's delicious. As soon as Kyungi got something to eat, he showed a bright smile and looked happy. That's right, eat a lot. As he stroked Kyungi's head, Sejun took out some purple locust meat from the storage space. Hehe, it's my turn, meow. Theo unsheathed his claws, ready to cut the meat. However, no, you don't have to do it, Theo. Golden Bat, could you cut this? Yes. Flap. The golden bat, which had been circling around Sejun, quickly flew over in response to Sejun's call and started cutting the meat. What, meow? It feels like my roll is disappearing, meow. I can cut well too, meow. Theo complained to Sejun. Although he didn't really like the task, Theo felt angry when he was not allowed to do it. All right then, Theo, you can peel the potatoes. Okay, meow. Russell. Sejun, who was thinking of having crispy potato pancakes for lunch, piled up about 1,000 potatoes in front of Theo since he asked for a task. The potatoes could be easily peeled by rinsing them with water. Meow, isn't this too much, meow? Theo was discouraged by the large amount of potatoes he had to peel. However, don't want to do it, then I'll ask the golden bat. No, meow, I'll do it, meow. He didn't like the idea of his job being taken away by others. Peel. At Sejun's words, Theo started peeling the potatoes in a hurry. Because of his greed, he was putting himself into potato peeling hell. While Theo was peeling the potatoes, Sejun, I've finished cutting. The preparation for the soup ingredients was completed. Splash. Ingredients were put into 3 large pots. Now all that was left was to boil and season them. And then, thud, he took out a fire ant's carapace from his void storage. Since it was a metal material, it was perfect for creating a grater to shred the potatoes. President Theo, can you make holes in this? I got it, meow. Bam. Theo's claws pierced the fire ant's carapace, making the holes Sejun wanted. How's that, meow? The power of my claws. Theo, who was bored of peeling potatoes, snuggled up to Sejun's knee proudly. I knew he would do that. Sejun smiled and hung Theo on his leg, and began to grate the 100 potatoes that Theo had peeled. Screech. Potatoes were being grated through the holes Theo had made, and the shredded potatoes fell below. Good, it grates well. It's obvious because I made it, meow. Sure. Then, since I did well, give me a churu, meow. No, I don't have a free hand now. I'll give it to you later. Theo really didn't know modesty or timing. While the soup was being prepared, Sejun grated potatoes. And then, Kyungi, could you wring this out? Sejun handed over the grated potatoes to Kyungi. It needed to be drained of water to make crispy pancakes with a soft inside. Kryung. At Sejun's request, Kyungi lightly grabbed the grated potatoes and applied some pressure. Drip, drip. The water was removed from the potato pancake batter. It was made into a dough state, almost as if it had been put in a dehydrator. Keep wringing it like that. Kryung. Sejun left the potato dough to Kyungi and seasoned the soup, which had turned purple after being boiled enough. A moment later, you have completed the purple CP's sweet potato soup. Your proficiency in cooking LV4 has slightly increased. The soup was ready. Here you go. Sejun ladled soup into Kyungi's bowl and slowly discarded the water Kyungi had wrung out, leaving only the settled starch to be added back into the potato batter. Now all that was left was to fry it. At that moment, it's already lunchtime. Kellyan, shall we have a bowl of soup? Shall we? Oh my, Kaiser, we've timed it just right. The two dragon statues that had been waiting for the soup to be finished flew over, leaving a trail of smoke behind, and sat down at the table as if it was only natural. I thought dragons didn't eat much. Didn't you say you only liked roasted sweet potatoes? Sejun asked while looking at Kaiser. Kaiser had said that dragons don't often feel hunger and therefore don't eat often, but he was back to eat again not even a few hours after eating. Something was suspicious. Did you find the soup to your liking? In response to Sejun's question, the two dragons awkwardly avoided answering and looked away. Sejun was sure that the culprits who had stolen Kyungi's soup were the two dragons right in front of him. Here you go, don't steal the kids' food in the future. Sejun ladled the soup and gave it to the two dragons. Embarrassed by Sejun's words, the two dragons coughed awkwardly and swallowed the soup, transporting it to their main bodies. After serving the dragons, Sejun served the soup to the rabbits who had come for lunch and started to make potato pancakes, heating up the frying pan. Although there was no cooking oil, there was fat collected every time they caught an eel. Shush. Sejun brought his hand close to the frying pan to check if it was hot enough. It's ready. Feeling the hot air from the frying pan. Whisk. Sejun threw a piece of eel fat the size of a thumbnail into the pan. Sizzle. The fat melted in the heat of the hot pan and quickly turned liquid, coating the pan in oil. Squeak. Squeal. Squeep. The sound of the fat melting and emitting a savory smell made the rabbits' ears perk up. Good. Sejun scooped up a large ladle of potato dough and put it in the pan. Sizzle. He started to flatten the rising potato pancake batter with the ladle, spreading it wide. And when the front side was adequately fried, he gave a snap of the wrist to flip the pancake. Check. Thanks to his high agility stat, the pancake, beautifully drawing a parabola, landed perfectly on the frying pan, flipped 180 degrees. Sejun enjoyed a moment of self-satisfaction at having flipped the pancake without ruining it when squeak, squeal, squeep. The rabbits, holding their bowls, called Sejun from behind him. Oh, you want to try it? Just a moment. Sejun placed the pancake on a large plate, tore it into long strips with chopsticks. Glug, glug, glug. He poured 3 dollops of honey into a bowl. You can eat it as it is, but when it cools down a bit, dip it in this honey. It will taste even better. Sejun explained how to eat the pancake to the rabbits and he added eel oil and prepared the next pancake. After frying about 10 pancakes like that, the rabbits left to go back to work after eating their fill, and only Kyungi was left, busily dipping the pancake in honey and eating. Kryung. Kyungi, who had dunked an entire pancake in honey and put it in his mouth, couldn't contain his joy and waved his arm, expressing his excitement. Is it that good? Kryung. Kyungi nodded his head vigorously in response. Seeing Kyungi enjoy his meal so much, he couldn't hold back any longer. I should try one too. Drip, drip, drip. Sejun took out the new sauce that Theo had brought this time and poured the black liquid into a small dish. It was soy sauce. Chop, chop, chop. He then chopped a Xinjiang chili pepper into it. This would make the pancake more appetizing, adding a spicy taste to the salty, allowing you to continue eating without feeling greasy. Heh, shall I give it a try? Sejun picked up a piece of pancake with chopsticks and dipped it in soy sauce when. What is that? What is that made of? The two dragons, who had finished their soup, showed interest in the pancake. Although dragons are known to be picky eaters, they decided to try Sejun's food first and then make a judgment. 55th floor of the tower. While Yona was killing Grid, the wolves, the black rabbit, and Chu Chu took care of the guards protecting the mansion, the barrier and dragon knights disappeared the moment Kellyan moved to the 99th floor of the tower. Thanks to this, they were able to capture the mansion smoothly. Grid's mansion was full of incredible treasures, and the crops filled the warehouse. Seeing these, Iona was once again reminded of how greedy Grid had been. Let's ask Sejun about what to do with these later. Seal. Iona sealed the mansion with magic and went outside, starting to liberate the rabbits in nearby villages. Of course, there was resistance from the wild boars, but they were just the lazy guards who were managing the farm rabbits. They were no match for Iona and the animals. As they took over a few villages, the number of rabbits that had joined increased to 300. There were more rabbits caught by Grid than expected. Power of magic, obey my command and attack the enemy. Bombardment. With Iona's magic, thousands of magic missiles were launched at the wild boar tribe at the forefront of the defense line. Iona chose the magic spell that caused the least damage to avoid harming the crops. Drive out the wild boars. Defeat the enemy. The Black Wolf tribe and the Silver Wolf tribe ran towards the broken defense line. Squeak. Squeal. Squeep. On the backs of these wolves, the black rabbit holding a hammer and the enslaved rabbits, who had joined on the 55th floor and holding farming tools, joined in. The rabbits looked exhausted from their long life of slavery, but they willingly put their effort into driving out the wild boars. As the battle continued, the wild boars began to flee to other floors. Having lost their core, they would never target for the 55th floor again. Thus, 100 years after the fall of the Red Ribbon Kingdom, the flag of the Red Ribbon Kingdom once again began to fly on the 55th floor, and the news of the kingdom's reconstruction began to spread to other floors. Chapter 116, cried. Ahem, Sejun, could you cook one more potato pancake for me? Me too. Kaiser and Kellyan, who had tasted the potato pancakes, asked Sejun for more, glancing at him. Kaiser had stopped calling Sejun rascal. The three-stage combo of roasted sweet potatoes, sweet potato soup, and potato pancakes had a powerful effect. However, no, I can't, I have to work now. Sejun firmly refused the requests of the two dragons. Sejun's priority now was to complete his job quest and reach level 51. Instead, he gave them each one more bowl of sweet potato soup. I need to eat it with alcohol quickly. Alcohol again. Heh, I have fire carrot wine that I received from Sejun. What fire carrot wine? How did you get that? Kellyan was greatly surprised at Kaiser's words. Fire carrot wine. It was an alcohol produced by the Red Tower's tower farmer, and the Red Dragon strictly prevented its exportation from the tower, making it as hard to find as plucking stars from the sky. Kellyan himself had barely managed to taste a single bottle 1,000 years ago. There was a harvest festival a few days ago. You need 10 kinds of crops for a harvest festival. Jealousy was not hidden in Kellyan's voice. He was envious of Kaiser having such an excellent tower farmer like Sejun. As for his tower, sigh. Thinking about his tower's tower farmer, all Kellyan could do was sigh. That damn fool claimed to be a tower farmer. Ha, cheer up. Flap, flap. Kaiser laughed boisterously and flew up to the fountain. Seeing Whitey's jealousy, he thought the alcohol would taste really good today. Damn, envy is a losing game. Kellyan was envious of Kaiser. who received delicious foods every day from Sejun. I need to call and check on the progress. After Kaiser left, Kellyan went up to Sejun's house roof, settled in his spot, and moved to his main body into the White Tower. And then, snip snip, Sejun continued harvesting cherry tomatoes for several hours. Phew, it's finished. As Sejun finished harvesting the cherry tomatoes, flap flap, the golden bat flew to Sejun. Sejun, I think I'll be going to Earth soon. Really? It had already been a week since the golden bat brought the ramen. Golden bat, keep revising what I taught you. Yes. Swoosh swoosh. Ramen cola. At Sejun's words, the golden bat saluted and diligently revised the essential keywords like an exam-taking student. Meanwhile, Sejun took out wooden planks from the void storage. Here, take these with you. Yes. The golden bat grabbed the palm-sized wooden plank with its foot. On the wooden plank, Sejun had written a message and phone number. If you find this, please contact 10xxxx and I will give you 10 million won. Han Tae-jun, president of the Korean Awakened Association. Sejun thought it might take too long to locate where the golden bat appears, so he decided to leave the contact information where it appeared. The contact information was Han Tae-jun's phone number, and Sejun had explained this matter to Han Tae-jun and obtained his number. He used Han Tae-jun's name as the offer of money looked suspicious, and Han Tae-jun was famous, sometimes even appearing on the news. Theo, this is President Han Tae-jun's number, right? It is, meow, you don't trust me, meow. Theo was angry at Sejun's lack of trust. Of course I trust you. Sejun stroked Theo's head. His impatience grew, thinking he could soon eat ramen, cola, and more. Of course, meow. President Park just trust me, meow. Theo clung closer to Sejun's lap, shouting loudly. Okay, let's get started. Yes. Golden bat, what's this? Sejun showed a drawn picture on the wooden plank and quickly asked. Chicken. Correct, what about this? Sejun quickly turned the wooden plank to show another picture. Saburo bread 1. Good, well done. Pad pad. The golden bat laughed at Sejun's praise. It didn't know why they were doing this, but answering correctly and getting praised felt good. Sejun continued the speed quiz with the golden bat. Ganache cake. All the pictures were of food Sejun wanted to eat, like pizza, burgers, and black bean noodles. By the way, Sejun's drawing skills were terrible, so getting the exact item from the picture was 100% impossible. If the golden bat managed to bring what was in the picture, it was solely because it was a genius. You got them all right, well done. Sejun praised the golden bat for correctly guessing all the wooden planks. Pad pads. The golden bat's mood lifted at Sejun's praise. After the speed quiz was over, Sejun, I'll be back soon. Be careful. The golden bat disappeared. Flap flap. Thud. The golden bat that had moved to Earth quietly dropped the wooden plank it was holding in its feet and quickly hid. This place was crowded with people. The hidden golden bat quickly looked around and found the word ramen. Having received high praise from Sejun for bringing ramen last time, it wanted to bring ramen again. Flap flap, I must bring what Sejun likes. But, gone. This time there was no sign of ramen anywhere. Fortunately, there was coffee. Let's take that at least. The golden bat quickly moved, picked up 10 coffees and hid them in a corner. Now, I should wait until I return to the tower. Just then, creak. A woman opened a drawer, revealing a small box with a picture of a fish visible on it. Ah, fish. It was Brother Theo's favorite, fish. There was only about 10 seconds left. It seemed possible to take it. Flap flap. The golden bat quickly flew and grabbed the box. Poof. The golden bat disappeared and returned to the tower. And, am I still drunk? Kim Kyung-mai, an employee at Hanseong Bank who had partied at a club until dawn, was startled when the Gory Bab 2 snacks she had placed in the drawer suddenly vanished before her eyes. Is it a hoax? The assistant PD Bei Jiangho of There's Such a Thing in the World said, smoking a cigarette outside the building. While watching the CCTV footage sent from the coin karaoke room, he thought that if done well, it could get some airtime. However, after installing a camera in the coin karaoke room and waiting for several days, nothing was captured on video. Just then, "Hey, Mr. Kim, did you know that a ghost appears in this building?" A ghost? Yes, the building owner is investigating, but this building is famous for a golden ghost. The security guards were outside, talking to a newbie while smoking. Others might have dismissed it as an old guard trying to intimidate a newbie, but to the PD of There's Such a Thing in the World, a ghost was a great subject for broadcasting. Jiang Ho's ears perked up to hear the guards' conversation. And what? The disappearing objects aren't limited to the coin karaoke room. Jiang Ho discovered new information. According to the guards, the golden ghost appeared once a week in the building to take things. Its favorite object was a shiny tumbler. But lately, its taste seemed to have changed, and they warned the newbie that it might target people next. If this goes well, it could be a huge hit. The corner of Bei Jiangho's mouth curled up. "Ajax, come here at once." Kellyan, having entered the administrator's area of the White Tower, called for his grandson. A moment later, "Why did you call me, Grandpa? Don't you know I'm farming?" A handsome teenager with lustrous white hair and covered in dust appeared, grumbling. "Farming? Then can you show me even one of the fine crops you've grown?" "No, you want to see the crops." Ajax was visibly flustered by Kellyan's words, so much so that he started talking with honorifics. He clearly looked very guilty. "Sigh." Kellyan sighed at Ajax's behavior. It was obvious without seeing. "Why did you insist on becoming a tower farmer?" "I thought I'd do well because I'm a great white dragon." Ajax replied, looking downcast. Dragons and farming did not go well together. The powerful energy of the dragon killed all the crops. That's why Ajax's harvested crop count was 0. No matter how many seeds were sown, none sprouted. "Try eating this. It's a sweet potato dish made from a crop grown by the Black Tower's tower farmer. It's tasty." Kellyan handed Ajax the sweet potato soup that Sejun had made. "Sweet potato. Slurp. Ouch. Hey, eat slowly, absolute heal." As Ajax burned his tongue, Kellyan quickly cast a healing spell. It was an excessively healing magic for the injury. "Heh, Grandpa, this is delicious." "Ha ha ha, eat up and regain your strength." "Okay." No matter what mischief Ajax got into, Kellyan couldn't help but smile and feel his anger dissolve. If Kaiser was a fool for his granddaughter, Kellyan was a fool for his grandson. A minute after the golden bat disappeared. "Sejun, I'm back." It returned from Earth. "Oh, good job." Sejun's face lit up as he looked at the items caught on the golden bat's feet. "Whoa, is that Goribab's snack?" It wasn't a snack he normally ate, but he was delighted to see it here. "Here you go." The golden bat placed only the coffee in Sejun's hand. "Huh, what about my snack?" While Sejun was puzzled. "Flap, flap. Big brother Theo, here's something you like." The golden bat handed the Goribab snack to Theo. "But, you fool, there's no fish here, meow." Theo, who instinctively detected that there was no fish inside, sharply refused the golden bat's gift. "Is that so?" The golden bat was disappointed at Theo's words. "It's okay, that's mine." Sejun tore open snack box that the golden bat was holding and took out a bag from inside. And, rip, as he opened the bag. The artificial seasoning smell tickled Sejun's nose. "This looks delicious." Sejun picked up one of the snacks and put it in his mouth. Crunch. The taste and texture were something he couldn't easily find here. "Golden bat, well done." Sejun praised the golden bat while eating the snacks. "Really, I'm so happy that you like it, Sejun." Flap, flap. The golden bat happily flew around Sejun at his praise. Now let's go to the western forest, Kyungi. Having finished the snacks, Sejun called Kyungi, who was hunting in the pond, to harvest the int seeds. Kryung. Kyungi came running right away. Hiya. Sejun climbed onto the enlarged Kyungi's back. And just before departure, Sejun realized that his lap was empty. Where did Theo go? Sejun looked around for Theo. President Park, where are you, meow? Sejun found Theo behind the house, his head stuck in a box of Goribab snack, flailing his front paws. He seemed to have wandered there because he couldn't see. President Theo here, come quickly. Sejun called Theo. But, President Park, I can't see, meow, help me, meow. Theo didn't think to remove the box, even though it was the obvious solution. You fool, just take the box off. Pull. Frustrated, Sejun pulled off the snack box that Theo was wearing. President Park, I missed you, meow. Theo quickly clung to Sejun's lap. Theo's eyes were moist. You've been crying. Kryung. Big brother, were you crying? Big brother Theo, were you really crying? No, meow, I didn't cry, meow. Hey, don't deny it, you even have a runny nose. No, meow, I really didn't have a runny nose, meow. Sejun teased Theo as they moved to the western forest. Chapter 117. Kenya, Africa. Suck. Damn it, why am I planting this? Having been saved by Theo and forcibly drafted into the Earth Defense Force, Ngugi grumbled, looking at the sturdy blade green onions planted around him. Around 1,000 sturdy blade green onions had been planted in the vicinity. Before leaving the tower, hand over all the detoxifying green onions. Han Taejun had taken all the detoxifying green onions that Theo had provided to the Earth Defense Force. Believing Theo's words that the Earth was facing destruction, Han Taejun planned to mobilize all resources. Naturally, at first, the hunters led by Lucilia, the guild leader of the Wizard Guild, had defiantly exclaimed, "Who do you think you are?" But they had met more than their match. Indeed, there were many hidden powerhouses in the world. Lucilia and the hunters had to surrender after being bombarded by Han Taejun's magic missiles. That huge guy using magic. Ngugi shivered, recalling memory of that time. Within 24 hours of arriving on Earth, Han Taejun began to seize lands all over the world and founded the Earth Defense Force. He then designated land for the members to plant sturdy blade green onions. Ngugi hadn't even seen the money from selling the detoxifying green onions, but he was hopeful because there was a bonus for each green onion planted. Maybe this job is better. I don't have to risk my life here. Sug. As Ngugi was planting the sturdy blade green onions with such thoughts. Flutter. A green locust about the size of a fist flew towards Ngugi. What? Ngugi was startled to see the locust. Green locust. What's going on? He could see the name above the locust's head, just as he had seen it above the heads of monsters inside the tower. Swoosh. Ngugi attacked and killed the green locust with his jungle knife, gaining experience points. It was indeed a monster. How is there a monster outside the tower? Is Earth really going to be destroyed? As the chilling thought that Theo's words might be true crept into Ngugi's mind. Flutter. About 100,000 green locusts filled the sky, flying towards Ngugi. A swarm of locust monsters. Non-awakeners probably couldn't see the names above their heads and were unaware of this. Damn, I should have brought my weapon. Ngugi regretted leaving his primary weapon, a bow, at home, since there was no need to carry it on Earth. Swish. He had no choice but to kill the green locusts with his jungle knife. They weren't very strong, so there was no danger in killing them. As he was busily killing the green locusts. What? Thud. Crunch. He saw the green locusts getting cut and killed as they approached to eat the leaves of the sturdy blade onions. Even as they died, they still tried to eat the leaves. It was a truly terrifying appetite. And the sturdy blade green onions were killing the monsters faster than Ngugi himself. So that's why we were told to plant sturdy blade green onions. Ngugi, who had gained a great realization, reported the situation to the Earth Defense Force headquarters. More sturdy blade green onions were needed. As Sejun arrived at the western forest, "Oh, there are so many now." Thump thump. Thud thud. The number of ants had increased to 7,000. It was thanks to not being attacked by fire ants. Thump thump. The little ants greeted Sejun, jostling each other to extend their heads. "Seed pluck, please." "Seed pluck give you." "Got it." There was a reason why the ants asked Sejun to pluck the seeds that they could pick themselves. Farmer's Touch LV2 is activated. The growth of the purified ant accelerates while being touched. The ants liked the feeling of growing faster when Sejun plucked their seeds, thanks to the farmer's touch skill. As Sejun was plucking the ants' seeds, "It's a duel, meow." Vroom vroom. Theo was running around, wanting to have a rematch, grabbing at the branches the ants were swinging. And then, Kriung. The bored Kyungi dug into the ground and played. As he dug deeper, it became dark without light, but "Kyungi, brother, I will light a fire, bat light." The golden bat, which had not had a chance to show its abilities until now, used its hidden skill. Flash. A weak golden light emanated from the golden bat's body, illuminating the surroundings. Kriung. Good job. Thump thump. Thanks to this, Kyungi was able to dig deeper underground with the help of the golden bat. And when Kyungi had dug about 10 meters down, "Creak. Brother Kyungi, I hear a strange noise over there." The golden bat heard a suspicious noise. "Kriung. Which direction?" "Over there." The golden bat pointed south with its wing. Thump thump. And Kyungi started digging a tunnel in that direction. And when they had dug about 300 meters, thump, crash, the wall collapsed. And then, Kriung, hug, Kwek, Kyungi and the golden bat encountered black ants digging a tunnel from the opposite side. "Hey guys, gather around." Sejun, who had picked all the ant seeds and replanted them, called the animals. It was time to return. "I'm already here, meow." Theo, who had tiredly returned to Sejun's lap after chasing branches, proudly said. "Right, meow, take this, meow." Theo remembered the items he had brought from the Wandering Merchant Association's office and carefully took them out of his bag. Furniture. When Sejun looked at the items Theo pulled out, he found chairs, lights, and a desk. It seemed like they would be good for decorating the bedroom. "You did well, but where did you buy it?" "I didn't buy them, meow. I just picked them up, meow." Theo, who had clearly stolen them, confidently said he had found them. He was indeed a scoundrel. "Is that so? Well done anyway." "Thank you, meow. Now give me some churu, meow." "Okay." Sejun put the items that Theo had brought into the void storage and fed Theo the churu. Chomp chomp chomp. Almost 10 minutes passed by the time Theo finished eating the churu, but Kyungi and the golden bat had not returned yet. Where have they gone? When Sejun got up to look for them, Kriung, Screech. Kyungi and the golden bat, who was perched on Kyungi's shoulder, appeared from underground singing. And then, Kwek. Following them about 10 black ants, each roughly 30 cm in size, came along singing in chorus. Mushroom ant. Mushroom ant. Upon seeing the name above the black ants, Sejun looked closely at them. How cute! Unlike fire ants, which have a sharp triangular face, the mushroom ants had a round face and blunt front teeth, giving them a cute appearance. They looked completely non-threatening, rather innocent. Since they were called mushroom ants, they seemed to be a good fit for farming. Where have you guys been, and what's with those ants? Kriung Kriung. We met them while digging. They said they would give us something to eat called mushrooms if we saved them. Sejun, these ants want to work on your farm. Kwek. At the words of Kyungi and the golden bat, the black ants vigorously waved their antennae up and down. Let's go to the farm first. Sejun took the ants to the farm. On the way to the farm. So they were originally slaves to the fire ants but escaped. Sejun talked to the mushroom ants as they moved. Kwek. In response to Sejun's words, the mushroom ant moved its antennae up and down. There were that many fire ants. According to what the mushroom ant told him, the fire ant force was substantial. There were dozens of fire ant colonies, each comprising hundreds of thousands of fire ants. Fortunately, there was no fire ant colony strong enough to unite the fire ants, so they did not usually invade other territories. If all the fire ants had been unified into a single force, they might have ruled the 99th floor of the tower. Then, Kwek, they encountered other mushroom ants on the road. And then, they want to work on President Park's farm, meow. The mushroom ants somehow knew they wanted to work on Sejun's farm. Sejun didn't know, but when he fell unconscious, the roots of Flamey, which had moved in anger, had freed some mushroom ants that were slaves to the fire ants by defeating a few fire ant colonies. If you have nowhere to go, head south and entrust yourselves to Sejun's farm. Following the words of Flamey, who had released them, the mushroom ants were on their way to find Sejun. Thus, by the time they arrived at the farm, Sejun had met more mushroom ants, and their number had exceeded 500. Let's rest here for today. Sejun provided a vacant land for the mushroom ants to rest. Kwek. At Sejun's words, the mushroom ants lay down on the vacant ground, resting comfortably for the first time since they were born. All right. Gulp, gulp. Ahai. Sejun woke up from his sleep and drank the water that Theo had left on the desk yesterday. President Theo, wake up. Sejun woke Theo up after drinking the water, but I'll sleep for just 5 more minutes, meow. Since Theo never got up at once, Sejun placed Theo on his leg. And then, swoosh, he added one more line to the wall and went outside. As Sejun went outside, Kriong, flap flap, Kyungi and Golden Bat that were playing around after waking up early greeted Sejun in the morning. Let have breakfast. Kriong. Kyungi responded loudly to Sejun's words, let have breakfast. Great. While Sejun was preparing breakfast in the kitchen. Squeak. Squeal. The rabbits also started to get up one by one and gathered in the kitchen. Today's breakfast menu was Sayak 1, boiled pork. Originally, they were to have the usual soup, but upon accidentally finding wild boar meat in the treasure storage, Sejun quickly changed the breakfast menu. Hum hum hum. Sejun hummed a tune while tying the wild boar meat with detoxifying green onions and putting it in the pot. And then, bang kriong. Bang kriong. Following Sejun, Kyungi tapped on the table and sang, Daddy is making a new dish. It must be delicious. Splish splash. During Kyungi's singing, Sejun put the whole bottle of carrot wine, including the carrot, into the pot. Alcohol is the best for removing odor. He also added enough water to cover the wild boar meat and then closed the lid to start boiling. At that moment, no, that precious wine. If you were going to do that, you should have given it to me. The 2 dragons who had come to the kitchen at mealtime to see if there was anything for them to eat lamented the carrot wine in the pot. But what do the mushroom ants eat? Sejun remembered the ants. Should I go and check? The pork stew needed to boil for at least 20 more minutes to be ready, so Sejun left the kitchen and moved to where the ants were resting. When Sejun arrived at where the mushroom ants were, Kwek. The ground, which was spacious yesterday, was now swarming with mushroom ants that had joined overnight. There must be around 3,000. While Sejun was estimating the number of ants, the color. Sejun's eyes caught a difference in the mushroom ants from yesterday. The backs of the mushroom ants were a different color than yesterday. Upon closer inspection of the mushroom ant's back. Is that a mushroom? Sejun saw mushrooms growing on their backs. Each mushroom ant had a different type of mushroom growing on its back. And then, Kwek, the mushroom ants were harvesting the mushrooms from each other's backs. At that moment, Kwek, a mushroom ant growing a king oyster mushroom on its back, approached Sejun and stopped in front of him. And then, it just stood still. Do you want me to pick it? When Sejun cut a king oyster mushroom from the mushroom ant's back with his dagger. You have harvested a king oyster mushroom. You have 47,812 times left to complete the job quest. Your job experience increases very slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV5 increases very slightly. You have gained 1 experience point. A crop harvesting message appeared. Oh! Sejun exclaimed in joy after seeing the message. There were about 100 mushrooms growing on the backs of the mushroom ants. Since they had grown like that overnight, he might be able to harvest them again in the evening. He thought he might be able to complete the job quest today. Guys, stop! Sejun hurriedly yelled to stop the mushroom ants from harvesting the mushrooms. Chapter 118. Kwek. At Sejun's command to stop, the mushroom ants that had been picking mushrooms stopped. I'll pick the mushrooms, so don't. Kwek. The mushroom ants began to line up towards Sejun. Not now, but in a little while. I need to eat breakfast. Kwek. The mushroom ants looked disappointed at Sejun's words. But what do you guys eat? Kwek. In response to Sejun's question, one of the mushroom ants repeatedly pointed to a pile of cherry tomato branches next to the field, and then at its mouth. Oh, you eat those? Kwek. At Sejun's words, the mushroom ant nodded with its antennae. Then you can eat them all. The cherry tomato branches had been too numerous to deal with after the rabbits pruned the tomatoes to prevent nutrients from going elsewhere, so it was great that the ants would eat them. Kwek. Excited by Sejun's words, the mushroom ants excitedly rushed towards the cherry tomato branches. It was fortunate that the mushroom ants had something they liked. Then let's quickly eat breakfast and start harvesting. As Sejun approached the kitchen to eat sayak, boiled pork. Wow, it smells amazing. The scent of wine boiled with meat filled the air outside the kitchen. Just by smelling it, one could tell that the sayak was cooked perfectly. At that moment, Kyungi, who had been guarding the entrance of the kitchen waiting for Sejun, called him. It seemed that the dish was almost done. Got it. As Sejun entered the kitchen, he found the rabbits gathered around the pot of sayak, their hands clasped together, reciting a chant-like spell and staring only at the pot. Kyungi grabbed Sejun's pants, leading him to the front of the pot. Everyone was focusing their entire attention on the sayak, except for the 2 dragons who couldn't smell it. Clicking. It's my turn now, give it to me. The 2 dragon statues were alternately drinking 1 drop at a time from the bottle that contained the fire carrot wine, shaking it. Who knew what they were doing with such a powerful magic? Is it ready? When Sejun opened the lid of the pot, steam so thick he could not see in front of him rose up. Then, as the steam cleared, the lustrous, milky meat that was half submerged in the water came into view. The wine carrot had completely melted, nowhere to be seen. It's done. Just as Sejun was about to scoop out the sayak. You have achieved the feat of making greedy and hot wild boar sayak for the first time in the tower. The recipe for greedy and hot wild boar sayak will be registered at Cooking LV4. Your proficiency in Cooking LV4 greatly increases. Your proficiency in Cooking LV4 is filled and your level increases. A message appeared, indicating that the dish was complete. Let's see. Sejun checked the options of the sayak. Greedy and hot wild boar sayak. Right arrow expertly cooked with wild boar meat, detoxifying green onions and fire carrot wine, It's moist and tender. Right arrow, all the fiery energy of the fire carrot wine is concentrated in the wild boar meat. Right arrow, the remaining greed in the wild boar meat minimizes the loss of nutrients. Right arrow, when consumed, it greatly increases your affinity with the fire attribute and burns bodily impurities. Right arrow, the detoxifying green onions, have the side effects of the fire carrot wine. Right arrow, if your magic power is below 50, the side effect will cause your body to burn with the fiery energy. Right arrow chef, Tower Farmer Park Sejun. Right arrow expiration date, 100 days. Right arrow grade, B+. Oh. The side effects were halved while keeping the effects of the fire carrot wine. It was good news. Swoosh. Sejun hurriedly took out a chunk of meat and cut a piece with his dagger. The tender meat was sliced smoothly without resistance. Slurp. He put the cut meat into his mouth. Swallow. Gulp. Oh. Words were unnecessary. The meat just melted in his mouth without even needing to chew. He regretted not having lettuce wraps, kimchi, and salted shrimp to eat with the sayuk. Kryung. Behind him, Kyungi and the rabbits were drooling, curious about the taste. Here you go. Sejun quickly cut the pork into sizes suitable for the animals to eat and gave it to them. Kryung. Squeak. Squawk. The animals began to eat the sayuk hurriedly. Golden Bat sliced this. Yes. Meanwhile, Sejun had the Golden Bat thinly slice some green onions, and he made a simple seasoning with red pepper powder, soy sauce, salt, and honey. Then, the Golden Bat mixed the seasoning with the sliced onions to complete the green onion salad. Let's try it. Swoosh swoosh. Sejun sliced about 10 pieces of pork, placed them on his plate, and ate them with the green onion salad. This is it, this is the taste. Although it was good before, eating it with the green onion salad added a crunchy texture and enriched the flavor, making it even more delicious. The green onion salad also cut through the greasiness, leaving a refreshing aftertaste. Kryung. Kyungi quickly followed Sejun's lead, placing the green onion salad on a piece of pork and putting it in his mouth. The only time he had failed to imitate Sejun's eating was with coffee. Dad said that tastes good when you become an adult. He didn't understand why it would taste better when he was older, but he trusted his dad's words. Kryung. Once again he succeeded. Kyungi, who had discovered a new world of flavor with the combination of sayuk and green onion salad, excitedly shouted out. And seeing Kyungi's reaction, the other rabbits began to take an interest. You guys. Sejun smiled contentedly as he looked at the animals. He felt good seeing them enjoy the food he had made. Aileen, you should try it too. Sejun sent a bowl filled with sayuk and green onion salad to Aileen. A moment later, the tower's administrator is shocked, saying this is the first time she has eaten meat so tender. Eat it with the green onion salad. It'll taste better that way. The tower's administrator says you are surely a genius in cooking. No, I'm not that good. Sejun was embarrassed about Aileen's praise, and honestly, Aileen's cooking skills were below average, but he couldn't bring himself to say that. Thus, while Sejun was sharing the pork with everyone, steam began to rise one by one from the rabbits' bodies. Along with a foul smell. It stinks, go wash up quickly. Sejun deliberately spoke more hysterically. It was revenge for them avoiding him earlier because his breath had smelled like shit. Sejun was quite vindictive. Squeak. Splash. The rabbits panicked and hurried to the fountain. Then, you have consumed the greedy and hot wild boar sayuk. Your affinity for fire attributes increases. Talent, fire mastery awakens. The impurities in your body are being burned and expelled out. Steam began to rise from Sejun's body too. Meow, President Park smells like shit again, meow. Theo quickly pulled a nose plug from his bag and plugged his nose. He had prepared it in anticipation of the same situation. Squawk! Kyungi screamed, covering his nose with his front paws. Daddy smells like poop. But he. Sejun too hurried to the fountain. Even though the smell was coming from his own body, it was truly horrible. Splash! The rabbits glared at Sejun as he entered the fountain. They gave him a reproachful look, as if to ask why he had yelled at them when he was going to come in as well. Sorry. A little later. Kriung. Splash! Kyungi also entered the fountain, giving off a foul smell. Kriung. I'm sorry. Kyungi, who had teased Sejun about the smell, rubbed Sejun's shoulder in apology. Thus, everyone left the cooking site. Shall we taste it? Shall we? The two dragons that had stayed behind in the kitchen helped themselves to the sayuk, and the green onion salad too. Shake, shake. Ah, so refreshing. Sejun spoke, shaking the water off his body. He had inadvertently taken a group bath with the animals. Kriung. Squeak. The animals were all shaking the water off their bodies, looking refreshed because all the impurities had been removed from their bodies. But it's uncomfortable, meow. Theo, who didn't need to go into the water, grumbled as he vigorously shook off the water. He had been dunked along with Sejun since he was clinging to Sejun's knee. President Theo, you're a complete mess, really pathetic. Sejun laughed at the bedraggled Theo without noticing his irritation. Meow, I'm not pathetic, meow. Theo's spirit was immediately dampened by Sejun's words. Sorry, I was just joking. Our President Theo is so cool. As Sejun lifted Theo and manually shook the water off his fur. PFFFT, I know, meow, I'm the coolest cat in the world, meow. Theo's confidence was quickly restored, and he boasted loudly. He really had the confidence of a reed. Then, Sejun, I'll dry your hair for you. The golden bat flew around Sejun's head, flapping its wings hard to create a breeze. Flap, flap. The wind was weak, so it wasn't much help, but... Pant, how is it? Oh, it's cool. Sejun made a white lie for the golden bat, who was flapping its wings to the point of breathlessness for him. His heart warmed instead. Let's get to work now. Sejun, after drying Theo's fur, massaged the tired golden bat's shoulders and went to look for mushroom ants. You have harvested a oyster mushroom. You have 42,871 times left to complete the job quest. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV5 has increased slightly. You have gained 1 experience point. Okay, next. Kwek. At Sejun's words, the harvested ant left, and another ant behind it showed its back for Sejun to harvest more easily. Sejun just stayed still, and it was easy to harvest because the mushroom ants moved themselves. Kwek. On top of that, Sejun's harvested mushrooms were sorted by the mushroom ants according to their type and condition. Shiitake mushrooms, oyster mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms, yonji mushrooms. There were many types of mushrooms growing on the backs of the mushroom ants. Although it was a bit disappointing that the mushrooms had no item effects, Sejun was satisfied since he could use the harvesting skill and eat the mushrooms. Nice. Thanks to that, Sejun only focused on harvesting. As he was doing so, lunchtime approached. Kyungi, bring me some dry straw and branches. Kriung. At Sejun's command, Kyungi, who had been lying on the ground gazing at the sky, quickly jumped up. Asking for dry straw and branches meant starting a fire, and that meant cooking. Kriung. Kyungi hurriedly ran off and... Brother Kyungi, I'll help too. The golden bat followed Kyungi, flying after him. A moment later. Kriung. Rumble, rumble. The giant Kyungi laid down a huge amount of dry straw and branches. Here they are. I brought some too. Flap, flap. The golden bat also brought a thin branch, following Kyungi. Good job. Sejun stacked the branches well and placed dry straw between them to catch fire easily. And then, snap, whoosh. Sejun snapped his fingers to create a small flame the size of a 51 coin, diameter 21.6 m. This was thanks to his newly acquired talent, Fire Mastery. Talent Fire Mastery. A talent that allows you to use fire more skillfully. You can create a flame by snapping your fingers. Although not powerful enough for battle, being able to create flames was a great help in daily life. Sejun used the flame on his finger to light the thin branch that the golden bat brought and put it in the pile of firewood. Whoosh! The fire caught on the firewood strongly. And then, thump! Sejun took out the back of a fire ant from void storage. Today's lunch menu was grilled mushrooms. The back of the fire ant was flat and perfect for a grill. Sizzle! As the mushrooms grilled, spreading their aroma, the rabbits found their way there on their own. Squeak! Quack! At first, the rabbits and mushroom ants were wary of each other, but workers recognize workers. The rabbits and mushroom ants quickly became friends. Chapter 119. Why am I sleeping here? Aileen, waking from her sleep, looked around. And then, I came here to bathe. She remembered that she had fallen asleep in the lake after washing off the waste that had been expelled from her body, after eating the wild boar meat that Sejun had given her. It was really dreadful. No comment on the waste, for the sake of Aileen's image. It was indeed fortunate that a powerful purification magic was cast on the lake. Splash! Hehe, it's easier to use my mana now. Aileen came out of the lake, examining her body and spoke, feeling the mana inside her moving smoothly. In Aileen's case, her dragon heart hadn't been beating for a while, preventing the infused mana from flowing and hardening along with the impurities, hindering her use of magic power. So this time, the hardened mana inside her body was expelled along with the waste after eating the pork Sejun had given her, making it much easier to move the magic and increasing its efficiency. And with the increased efficiency, she was able to do more. Aileen left the administrator's area for about 5 seconds, then hurriedly came back when she started to feel weak. Huff, huff, I went out of the administrator's area. Aileen was thrilled with her achievement. Now, although only for a short time, she had enough mana flowing within her body to endure outside the administrator's area. She thought she could open the portal if she tried, but I will never open it, never. Aileen had no intention of opening the portal. If she opened the portal, her grandfather or father might come in and interfere with her and Sejun's relationship, or they could change her role as the tower administrator to another dragon now that her dragon heart's condition had improved. Since I won't be able to see Sejun, I will definitely not open the portal. Thus, Kaiser's long-awaited reunion with his beloved granddaughter did not happen for a long time. After eating a delicious lunch of grilled mushrooms, squeak, as the rabbits were about to go back to the fields to work. Quack! The ants, having finished harvesting mushrooms, gave the rabbits a ride and moved together. And then, you have harvested shiitake mushrooms. You have 37,123 times left to complete the job quest. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV5 has increased slightly. You have gained 1 experience point. Sejun also harvested mushrooms again. Then, about 2 hours into harvesting mushrooms. Roar! From a distance, the roar of the mother crimson giant bear was heard. What's happening? She's shouting, don't come here, it's our territory, meow. When Sejun was curious, Thea translated the words of the mother crimson giant bear. Don't come here. It meant something was coming. Guys, let's go. Sejun ran to where the mother crimson giant bear was, taking his bodyguard Kyungi with him. As usual, the mother crimson giant bear, Pink Fur, was patrolling around the farm. Her name had been changed from Red Fur to Pink Fur as her fur color had changed. Roar! Pink Fur was diligently patrolling around the farm today as well. Then, roar! From afar, about 2,000 mushroom ants could be seen approaching. Since Sejun had told her not to stop the mushroom ants if they came, Pink Fur was waiting to guide them as they drew near. But, creak, keek. As they got closer, the mushroom ants were being chased by an enormous number of fire ants. Roar! So Pink Fur, in a warning to the fire ants that had invaded Sejun's farm, roared and prepared to fight. As Sejun arrived at the scene of the commotion, roar! Moo! Keek! Like Sejun, 30 black minotaurs who had heard the roar of the mother crimson giant bear joined in and were in a standoff with the fire ants, protecting the mushroom ants in a circle. However, the number of fire ants that had followed the escaped slaves was nearly 100,000. They were not merely confronting, they were surrounded by the fire ants. Roar! Moo! As the crimson giant bear and the black minotaurs attacked the approaching fire ants by kicking them. Keek! The fire ants retaliated by spewing from their antennae towards them. A single attack wouldn't have been felt, but with 100,000 fire ants, it was a completely different story. When tens of thousands of fire ants focused their fire on one spot, the fire power intensified, and flames caught onto their bodies. Roar! Moo! As the crimson giant bear and the black minotaurs, their bodies aflame, cried out. This is dangerous. Sejun quickly moved to save them. Create thunderclouds. With Sejun's shout, clouds covered the sky. Rainfall. Sejun made it rain to extinguish the fire on the crimson giant bear and black minotaurs, and to drench the fire ants so that electricity could flow better. However, it's not going out. The fire was so strong that it didn't go out easily. Throw thunder. Sejun decided to deal with the fire ants first. Along with Sejun's shout, blue lightning bolts fell from the thunder clouds towards the fire ants. Crash! You have defeated a fire ant worker. You have gained 1,000 experience points. About 1,000 fire ants were electrocuted and died. This time, his legs didn't give way due to exhaustion as before. His magic power had increased by 5% with the acquisition of the talent, magic circuit, and the efficiency of his magic improved as his body's waste was expelled. Throw thunder. Sejun used throw thunder again to save the crimson giant bear and black minotaurs. Crash. Stagger. But he could only do it twice. Kryung. Why does Dad being weak stepping up? Kyungi supported the collapsing Sejun and scolded him. What are you talking about? Can't you see your mom and the Minotaur screaming? Roar! Moo! Sejun pointed angrily at the crimson giant bear and black minotaurs, whose bodies were on fire. He was disappointed in Kyungi. Just then, why is that a scream, meow? Theo asked Sejun in a lazy voice. If that's not a scream, then what is it? They're saying it's refreshing, meow. What? What Sejun thought were screams were cheers from the crimson giant bear and black minotaurs, who were happy to burn off the old grime on their fur with the strong fire they had encountered in a long time. Ah, what have I done? He had briefly forgotten that there was nothing as pointless as worrying about others on the 99th floor of the tower. He had misunderstood and stepped forward for no reason. If I do well, that's enough. Sejun muttered to himself in self-reproach when Kryung. Kyungi called out to the crimson giant bear. Dad has collapsed again. Roar! The crimson giant bear was surprised at Kyungi's words. Again. Roar! Deciding to end the battle, the mother crimson giant bear struck the ground with both hands. Boom! Magical power erupted from the ground, perfectly targeting the area where the fire ants were, in the shape of a donut with a hole in the middle. Most of the fire ants disappeared without leaving a trace. Moo! The remaining fire ants were taken care of by the black minotaurs, ending the battle. Indeed. When Sejun checked later, indeed the fur that had caught fire on the mother crimson giant bear and the black minotaurs which had caught fire had become shinier. Floor 55 of the tower. Great job, everyone. After driving out all the wild boars and freeing the captive rabbits, Iona spoke, looking at the wolves and rabbits. The number of rabbits had increased to about 5,000. They were the freed rabbits and those who had joined them after the harvest festival. The original plan was to go to the 99th floor of the tower, but after the death of Grid, the owner of the 55th floor, they headed back to their hometown on the 55th floor. Hegel and Elka, stay here and help the rabbits. Yes. Yes. There were a lot of crops to be harvested at the farm on the 55th floor, so Iona had the wolves help with the rabbits' harvest. And then, Kaiwat. She headed towards Grid's mansion, humming a tune to bring his wealth to Sejun. However, it's too much. The items inside the mansion couldn't all fit into Iona's pocket space, so she decided to take only a part of it and put the rest in the treasure vault. It's all moved. Having placed all the items in the treasure vault, Iona went outside and used magic. Wind, obey my command and sweep it away, tornado. Whoosh! A massive typhoon tore down Grid's mansion. It was for building a new royal palace in the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Ppi. Choo gathered the rabbits in the vacant lot and proclaimed the re-establishment of the Red Ribbon Kingdom. Squeak! At Choo-Choo's declaration, the Black Rabbit and other rabbits cheered. There would be many hardships ahead to restore their former glory, but Choo-Choo thought that, with the current momentum of the rabbits, they would be able to restore the glory of the Red Ribbon Kingdom one day. A little later. I'll go back to Sejun now. Queen Choo-Choo, please lead the kingdom well. Iona said, looking at her disciple Choo-Choo. Ppi. Choo-Choo looked sad as Iona announced her departure. Squeak! The Black Rabbit comforted Choo-Choo by patting her shoulder. I'll visit often, farewell for now. Iona then headed back to the 99th floor. Kaiwat, I can finally get some good sleep. Iona's steps toward the 99th floor, where Sejun's lap and Theo's tail were light as a feather. Guard Choo-Choo has established the Red Ribbon Kingdom on the 55th floor of the tower. The farms belonging to the Red Ribbon Kingdom are included in the farms of Tower Farmer Park Sejun. It seemed that the tidying up of the 55th floor was complete. Your farm size has exceeded 1 million square meter. Talent, Centurion Landlord grows into Millennium Landlord. Nice. The farm Sejun had created on the 99th floor was about 670,000 square meter. The 55th floor's farm must have been large, as Sejun's talent rapidly grew into Millennium Landlord. Appoint Guard Choo-Choo as the 55th floor's caretaker. Caretaker. When new information he didn't know appeared, Sejun checked his newly transformed talent, Millennium Landlord. Talent, Millennium Landlord. A talent acquired only by a farmer with more than 1 million square meter of farmland. May designate one caretaker to manage the farm in your stead. A caretaker can appoint 100 tenant farmers and 3 guards of their own. Can designate up to 1,000 tenant farmers. Tenant farmers can use landlord's farming skills. If a tenant farmer uses the skill of the landlord receives a 5% skill proficiency reward. Can designate up to 10 guards to protect the farm. The landlord receives 50% of the experience gained by the guards in combat within a 3 km radius around him. Talent grows with the size of the farm. The significant change was the role of a caretaker, managing the farm in his stead, and an increased number of tenant farmers and guards. Appoint Guard. Sejun first appointed Mother Crimson Giant Bear as a guard. Then, it won't work right, Sejun muttered, looking at the 2 dragon statues chattering above the fountain. Just mentioning it might get him killed for daring to consider dragons in such a way. Let's talk about it when we're a bit closer. Giving up on making the dragons into guards. Appoint tenant farmers. Sejun initially appointed 100 mushroom ants as tenant farmers. He planned to see how the mushroom ants worked before deciding whether to appoint more. Then, the tenant farmer mushroom ant used seed harvesting LV4 to obtain mushroom spores. The tenant farmer mushroom ant used seed sowing LV5 to plant mushroom spores. Millennium Landlord receives a 5% skill proficiency reward. Millennium Landlord seed harvesting LV4 proficiency slightly increases. Millennium Landlord seed sowing LV5 proficiency slightly increases. The tenant farmer mushroom used seed harvesting LV4 to obtain mushroom spores. This is amazing. While the designated mushroom ant tenant farmers remained still, messages about continuous skill usage appeared suggesting they harvested and sowed mushroom spores from their backs on their own. Day 277 of being stranded, Sejun became Millennium Landlord. Chapter 120. Day 278 of being stranded, morning. President Park, can't you sleep a bit more, meow? Dangling. No, I can't. There's something we have to resolve quickly today. Sejun picked Theo, who was whining to sleep more, and placed him on his knee. Cling. Theo naturally slipped into sleep mode, clinging to Sejun's leg. He always whined like this when sleeping soundly. Then, meow. Theo discovered something stuck to his tail. It was Iona, who had sneaked in at dawn. Iona, when did you get here, meow? Theo asked, looking at Iona clinging to his tail. Kaiwat, I came at dawn. I'll sleep just a little more. Iona curled up, wrapping her body with Theo's tail, and fell asleep again. Sejun then went outside, carrying Theo and Iona on his leg. Then, let's eat breakfast. He heated up the soup made yesterday and quickly ate breakfast. Then, he headed to where the mushroom ants lived. They had begun building their home on the land that Sejun provided since yesterday. When Sejun arrived at the place where the mushroom ants were, Kegwek. The ants were building walls, piling up the dirt from the underground tunnels they were digging. They indeed displayed the qualities of workers. Guys, let's harvest. Kegwek. At Sejun's call, some mushroom ants with mushrooms on their back neatly lined up, while the rest continued building. It seemed they had already decided among themselves who would harvest and who would work. The more I see, the more I like them. Sejun found himself nodding in approval at the diligent mushroom ants, who were always eager to work without wasting a moment. After about 3 hours of harvesting, you have harvested an oyster mushroom. You have 1 time left to complete the job quest. Your job experience has increased slightly. Your proficiency in harvesting LV5 has increased slightly. You have gained 1 experience point. Finally, the completion of the job quest was near. Then, Poppy. He harvested the last mushroom. You have completed the job quest. Level 51 is unlocked as a quest completion reward. You have acquired 50,000 tower coins as a quest completion reward. All job skills of the tower farmer have increased by 1 level. Finally, Sejun cheered. His level restriction that had been stuck on the 50th level was finally lifted. Now he could gain experience freely. Then, your crops have exterminated pests. You have gained 1 experience point. Why is this showing up? Are there other pests besides locusts? Messages started to appear about exterminating pests, which hadn't been shown due to the level-up restriction. Kenya, Africa. After receiving Ngugi's report, Han Tae-jun and other Earth Defense Force hunters arrived to confirm the monster with their own eyes. Green locust. It's real. How can this be? How did the monster? The hunters were shocked to see the name displayed above the captured monster's head. What they had hoped would never happen had become a reality. The appearance of a monster on Earth made Theo's prediction of Earth's destruction feel more real. Of course, the green locust was much weaker than the skeletons encountered on the 2nd floor of the tower. Even ordinary people could kill it easily. This wouldn't be enough to cause the destruction of the Earth. Does this mean if their numbers grow beyond a certain point, they will evolve and become stronger? Yes, fortunately, ordinary locusts have been keeping the monster locusts in check. Ngugi, who had been observing the green locusts for a few days, replied. In the days following the discovery, thousands of green locusts died in the sturdy blade green onion fields. However, the ordinary swarms of locusts just passed by the sturdy blade green onion field. Instead, they ferociously hunted down and killed the green locusts. From the perspective of ordinary locusts, the green locusts were competitors for food and their enemies. This kept the green locust population in check and prevented the locust swarms from growing too large. Otherwise, they would have already devoured all of Africa's crops and moved on to the Middle East. This was unlucky for the green locusts, but fortunate for the Earth. We have confirmed the appearance of the monster, so for now, we will direct 50% of the sturdy blade green onions, which are obtained from the tower, towards Africa. Yes. The other members agreed with Han Taejun's decision. He decided to focus on buying land in Africa and its vicinity before heading back to Korea. It's a party today. Sejun decided to have a party to celebrate the completion of his job quest. He wanted to share the joy of having the level 51 restriction lifted with everyone. He decided to level up starting tomorrow. A party, you say? Then hurry and prepare the churu and grilled fish, meow. At Sejun's words, Theo shouted with excitement. It would be great to eat churu while lying on Sejun's lap on top of a mountain of grilled fish. Kaiwat, kaiwat, kaiwat. No way, the party needs kaiwat, kaiwat, roasted peanuts. Iona argued against Theo's words. Iona couldn't hide her excitement at the thought of nibbling on roasted peanuts while cozily covered with Theo's tail on Sejun's lap wrapped in a blanket. Kriong, kriong. No, for a party, meat is a must. Kyungi clenched both fists at the thought of holding the bountiful meat. Saliva was already dripping from Kyungi's mouth. Everyone had strong preferences for the party. Pip pip, I want fruit. The golden bat cautiously expressed its opinion, but a party must absolutely have churu and grilled fish, meow. A party without roasted peanuts is no party at all. Kriong. Meat is a must. No one paid attention to the golden bat's opinion. And then, current list of items available from the Red Ribbon Kingdom's treasure vault. Total 23,911,912 items. 30 million tower coins x1. Mithril ore x100. Gold bars x10,000. Silver bars x50,000. Land deed of the 77th floor farm. Land deed of the 83rd floor farm. How did it suddenly get so many? Sejun was surprised to see the enormous list of items when he opened the treasure vault, something he often did when bored. Kaiwat, kaiwat, kaiwat. So this was connected to the Red Ribbon Kingdom's treasure vault. I've filled it with Grid's wealth. Yona proudly said, looking at the list of items from behind Sejun. Really, well done. Kaiwat, kaiwat, kaiwat. Thank you. Ah, did you summon the white dragon statue this way too? Yes, but have you ever met Kellyan? He was Kellyan. We almost died because of him. What? Ahem, I didn't know you were Sejun's subordinate at that time. Hearing his name from the roof, Kellyan, who was listening from the roof, hurriedly spoke. Kyuka. Yona, surprised to find the white dragon statue, hid behind Sejun. Don't be too frightened, insignificant hamster. I won't harm you. Kellyan's words to ease Iona's guard. Insignificant, you say? Only irritated Sejun more. Ahem, you'll still invite me to the party, right? In the dragon tribe, only those who are invited to a party can attend, so Kellyan was nervous, fearing that Sejun might not invite him. Of course, his intention to attend the party was to try Sejun's cooking. I don't know, inviting someone who targeted my subordinate to my party is a bit. Normally he would have said, of course you're invited, but this time was different. From afar, Kaiser was watching over them. In this situation, Kaiser was reassuring. Kahahaha, I'll be the only one to go to Sejun's party. Kaiser enjoyed seeing Kellyan in trouble. He planned to attend Sejun's party alone to put Kellyan down. Sejun refused quickly, as Kaiser cheered on Sejun. Wait. When Sejun seemed hesitant to invite him to the party, Kellyan frantically pressed his belly button, fearing he might not get an invitation. In his haste, he remembered something he had saved. Clicking. His belly button must have been a switch, as it opened to reveal a storage space inside the statue. Although it had been in relic with no apparent use, now it was something he could use to appeal to Sejun. Invite me to the party, and I'll give you this, Kellyan shouted, pulling out a fist-sized, shiny white dough. Refuse. How can you invite someone to the party who has tried to take the life of your subordinate with such a bribe? Sejun, don't you have any pride? It seemed like Sejun was tempted, so Kaiser flew over in a hurry and shouted. All right, I'll invite Mr. Kellyan to the party. Sejun, already entranced by the white dough in Kellyan's hand, had made up his mind. Haha, thank you, here, take it. Kellyan handed the white dough to Sejun. Thank you. Sejun thanked him heartily, receiving the dough. Soft and squishy. It was the touch he had been expecting. He then hurriedly checked the dough. Relic wealth-devouring rice dough. Made by Pong Pong, a rabbit tribe's rice cake master who bet his life on rice cakes. It's a rice dough designed to make the best rice dough always. Right Arrow, it is one of the 10 relics that exist in the Black Tower. Right Arrow, when you feed the rice dough with wealth that has the value of 1 tower coin, it will spit out 1 kg of top-quality rice dough. Right Arrow usage restrictions, LV, 50 or higher, magic power 50 or higher. Right Arrow creator, Pong Pong. Right Arrow grade, AA. Jackpot. With this relic, he could make rice dough whenever he wanted. Although tower coins would be consumed to obtain the dough, to Sejun, tower coins were just numbers except when using the seed shop. With this, I can make both the rice cakes and makgeolli, rice wine, that the raccoon sold last time. What, is that true? Kaiser was excited at the word makgeolli after hearing Sejun's words. Kriung. Kyungi was no different. He could dip rice cakes in honey again. Hehe, know that it's all thanks to me. Kellyan spoke smugly, realizing that what he had given was even more remarkable than he had thought. Shall we try making the rice dough first? Sejun placed his hand on the rice dough and used 10 tower coins. Relic, wealth-devouring rice dough has swallowed 10 tower coins and produced 10 kg of top-quality rice dough. Poof! The wealth-devouring rice dough spat out a basketball-sized lump of rice dough. Chug! Wow! Sejun was thrilled to obtain 10 kg of rice dough. He hurried to the kitchen with it. Suddenly, he wanted to make a particular dish. It was songpyeon one. He really wanted to eat songpyeon today. I'll mix sweet potatoes, and honey for the filling. Sejun thought about how to make songpyeon as he boiled potatoes and sweet potatoes in a pot. Then he grilled fish and purple locust meat and roasted peanuts, preparing the menu that Theo, Iona, and Kyungi had wanted for the party. While Sejun was cooking, hahaha, you can make makgeolli with this. Put in 10 million tower coins. I'm not as stingy as Sejun. Kaiser laughed boisterously and put 10 million tower coins into the wealth-devouring rice dough. And then, biwuwang, a 10,000-ton, gigantic lump of rice dough shot up. Huh! Kaiser was taken aback by the unexpectedly massive size of the rice dough. If it fell, the damage would be immense. The fields would be ruined, and Sejun would probably die. Vanish! Kaiser quickly made the rice dough disappear. 10 million tower coins were gone in vain. Puahaha! Kaiser, if you're going to spend money like that, give it to me. Shut up! Kellyan jeered from the side.